The NBA is in its prime right now. We are in peak NBA in terms of games being played, in terms of records being broken, in terms of all-time historical players being acknowledged, in terms of just everything. The best player in the world right now is at his peak. The next up-and-coming best player in the world is showing us that he's ready to take the reins. The GOAT is doing GOAT things, passing other GOATs. Swiper is ascending into heaven. We got a lot going on, y'all, and we're going to get into everything. You can see Kawhi Leonard returned. Wemby and Jokic had a masterclass. LeBron passed Michael Jordan.
Here we go.
And Dirk Nowitzki. He broke 2 records this weekend. Derrick Rose, he's going to be doing something special in Chicago. The Thunder just keep winning, and so do the Cleveland Cavaliers. We had some big games this weekend, and we got some players getting benched on the Phoenix Suns. And we're going to get into all of this, fellas. We got a lot to talk about. We got a jam-packed episode, but I'm going to start in South Beach with Jimmy Butler being suspended. It seems like there's some turmoil between Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler, so we got to get into this beef. Here's basically what happens in case you have missed it. Jimmy Butler came out and made a statement on Friday, and shortly thereafter, the Miami Heat and Pat Riley suspended Jimmy Butler for 7 games, and they basically said it is for multiple instances of conduct detrimental to the team, particularly in the last several weeks. They made this statement, and they said through his actions and his statements, he has shown he no longer wants to be a part of this team. Jimmy Butler and his representative have indicated that they wish to be traded. Therefore, we will listen to offers. Fellas, talk to me about how you feel about this.
First off, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, Mars. I believe it's afternoon or evening. Yeah, the NFL, the NBA PA is investigating contract detrimental to the team when you say you want to trade while you're playing games. It's very interesting. So a 7-game suspension, Mars. I believe that's even more than anybody got for the Yusuf Nurkic and Najee Marshall, PJ Washington scuffle. We haven't seen that in a long time, Chill. I believe since a legitimate fight broke out several years ago. 7-game suspension for a player that hasn't done anything of that nature on the court regarding a fight, said something disrespectful about ownership. He merely said that I'm no longer happy in this situation and I would like to be traded. And so that's very interesting. Unless there's something happening behind the scenes, Chill. I think that is.
Of course, there's something happening behind the scenes. Normally, what would happen in this kind of situation is what happened, and you're a football guy, Swiper, is what happened with Keyshawn Johnson when he was with Carolina. When he was with Tampa, and they just sent him home, and they told him, "Don't worry about it. You know, we'll pay you, but don't come back to the facility, and we'll find a suitable partner for you." But Riley, being the petty individual that Riles is, I'm going to suspend you for 7 games. You know why I'm going to suspend you for 7 games, Ox? Because you're going to pay me $2.5 million. You're going to give me some of that bread back. I'm not going to pay you all of your bread. You're going to give me some of that bread back. In addition to you giving me some of that bread back, before I was going to find somebody suitable for you and to do right by you. Now I'm in a space where I'll see what works for me first. That's what I'll do more than anything. And then once I do that, then I'll see what works for you. If it does, if it doesn't. But this is now going to be about me. This is going to be about what's going on with us. Remember what we're talking about here. We're talking about Jimmy Butler in Miami for 5 years. In the 5 years that he was there, he was an all-pro. He was an all-league defender. Got them to the NBA championship twice. Got them to the Eastern Conference Finals twice. 3 times. In that time span, Pat Riley has figured out that I've probably gotten all that I'm going to get out of Jimmy Butler. And I can't see myself paying him $55, $60 million at age 37, 38 years old. Jimmy Butler thinks that he should be treated like Dwayne Wade, like he's a Miami Heat, only except he's not. He's not in the lore of guys like Dwayne Wade, Alonzo Mourning, and he felt like he should have been treated like that, and he wasn't. I always allude to it as thank you money, and I think that's what Jimmy Butler was looking for, and he wasn't getting that. And now this thing has turned ugly. I was out on Jimmy Butler this summer. I wanted to build it around Bam and Tyler Hero, and it looks like that's kind of what's going on right now. So it's to be expected.
Well, I mean, Pat Riley shouldn't be thinking about Jimmy Butler first. Why would I think about Jimmy Butler first if I'm trading you somewhere? Like, yeah, like it's cool. Like I'm not gonna purposely try to send you to a terrible situation, but Jimmy's not more important than the franchise. Jimmy's not more important than the future of the team. Pat Riley should 100% be looking to send Jimmy Butler somewhere where he can benefit. Right. Meaning the team can benefit. I want to get as much back for you as possible. I don't care where you want to play, Jimmy. That shouldn't be your first, second, or third priority.
Ox, do you think that because I talked to Wes Goldberg, he's one of the beat writers for the Heat. They apparently had offers for Jimmy or had calls about Jimmy in the summer, but they were unwilling to move him at the time, even though Pat Riley said that he wasn't paying Jimmy. So I think two things were happening at once. Ox, they were unwilling to move him because I think they thought they could at least get more than what was offered, even though it was like fairly comparable deals, but they weren't going to pay Jimmy. So do you feel like, Ox, they should have just like bit the bullet in the offseason and just got rid of him then?
No, I think they were trying to make it work, and then now Jimmy's being a crybaby, so it's kind of like, all right, you don't want to be here no more, then bye, Jimmy. Like we tried, and then on top of that, Jimmy want all the money. Like, how you gonna want to get paid all the money and then be upset? You can't have it both ways.
Yo, I think to be honest with you, Ox, that's exactly what happened. I think Pat Riley wanted to make it work. He wanted to get all. I feel like he got all that he can get out of Jimmy Butler, but I mean, this last year, I felt like he was trying to make it work over the summer. Let's see what we could get with this group. And Buckets wanted to get paid, and Riley couldn't see himself paying him. And because he couldn't see himself paying him, he was out at that. None of us up here think that Pat Riley should give Jimmy Butler that much money, or the franchise. Let me not just say like it's because it's not Pat Riley's money, but you know what I mean. Like nobody should. None of us up here think that Jimmy Butler should get paid that as much as he wants. You know what I'm saying? So. It's crazy. It's crazy for him to be upset if he doesn't get that contract from Miami. And it's not just the money though. But I know, and that's what I was just getting to. Also, like you want me to bring in all these other players, and like we talked about last week, it's not like Pat Riley's putting out a team out there that can't compete. There's been good. They've had good teams. They've had chances to win. They just didn't get it done. And I don't think that there's been any failures in Miami. I don't think we should look at this past 5-6 years and be like, man, they just didn't do anything. This was a great run. I think everybody should be happy with what happened in Miami these past 5 seasons.
They definitely overachieved, and I feel Jimmy. I don't think Pat Riley. I mean, Pat Riley's a cheapskate. Let's just call it how. Let's call it spade a spade. He don't want to pay players. He doesn't. And I mean, Jimmy Butler's frustrated with that. Not only do you not want to pay me, but you don't want to go get some top end talent.
He's getting paid, Ron. How does he not want to pay Jimmy?
I'm talking about his next contract. But I'm saying yeah, okay, but forget Jimmy. I'm talking about other players. I'm talking about going and getting top tier talent, trading for people, bringing in key free agents. Like, bro, you expect me to win this with in the first championship they went to against the Lakers with a rookie Tyler Hero and a second-year Bam Adebayo? Salute to
they were injured in that finals too. They were injured in that finals. Bam was.
Yeah, but even then, they
both those finals runs, they weren't healthy. So that's what I'm saying.
But that's even then though. What I'm supposed to win this with?
Yes, Ron. Why are we? Okay, see, this is
you didn't. None of you guys expected Heat to be that good.
When Gordon and Bam both got hurt, they had a lot of action to win that ring, and so that's why. But so you don't think
okay? No, but
yes, good. Don't say no.
Yeah, it went court too, Ron.
Okay, don't do that.
Understand where I'm coming from and understand how Jimmy could potentially feel. Looking at things hindsight, it looks like okay, Goran and Bam, because what Bam.
You don't need hindsight to see that, Ron. Goran Dragic was playing out. Goran Dragic was having a great season, bro. Don't do that, Ron.
Compared to who?
Ron was playing well. He was playing well.
Anybody, bro.
To top end talent.
It doesn't. But that's what I'm saying. See, that's the problem. We look at Miami. He didn't have to be a top 40 player in the NBA. He was balling regardless. Regardless how y'all feel about these names. Goran Dragic was having a hell of a season. He was out. In fact, Goran Dragic was out playing Jimmy Butler in a lot of those games and a lot of those series as well. So it doesn't matter what his name is. The point is that Pat Riley had somebody there in Goran Dragic who was very capable of playing. Pat Riley didn't tear Victor Oladipo's quad.
Victor Oladipo wasn't going to get it done either.
But wait a minute, see, and that's the problem right there, Ron. Ron, that's the problem right there that we're having. You keep talking about this whole talent thing. That's not the way that Miami Heat team was built. That Miami Heat team was built a different way.
And that's what Jimmy's problem is.
What's the problem, Ron? We've been to the finals twice with the way that this team was built.
The Celtics got Drew. The Celtics got Kristaps Porzingis. The Celtics got Derek Holiday. They went and got all of these guys.
Derek Holiday. Derek White.
Derek White.
We know what we're talking about. Okay, keep going.
Derek Holiday.
Okay, keep going.
But anyway, they went and got all of these guys and built up this contender.
Yes, sir.
And a powerhouse that nobody can stop. Let's look at all the guys that Philadelphia has gotten. We're just talking about teams in the East. Let's look at
but the Heat were better than all those teams, though.
100%.
Except last year.
100%.
Well, Ron. To be fair,
Ron living off the name right now.
But Ron, to be fair, if Jimmy Butler didn't tear his quad in 22, I think they beat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Final. Remember, went Game 7, and then he had a game-winning three-point shot on the line where he almost made it. So they almost went to 3 finals in 5 years.
4 years. In 4 years.
4 years. 4 years at that point.
4 years.
4 years at that point. That's Ron. I mean, that's.
And Ron, I got.
No, to Swiper's point,
and a bunch of other undrafted players. Late first round picks.
Sure.
And
I appreciate the talent.
I got 2 lottery guys with me, but they're young as hell. So Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo supposed to carry me to the promised land. Now,
and they would do that was going on, Ron. I got a 20 and 10 all-league defender. I got a 20 and 10 all-league defender and an all-star in Bam, who's becoming that. I got a great rotation player in Tyler Hero, who I thought should have been a rotation player, but now it's turning into something special. It was working, and you were turning those undrafted guys into great players. You know what the problem at the end of the day was, Ron? My best player better than your best player. Jimmy Butler wasn't better than Joker. So now what I got to do is I have to now compound that by going to get him more talent. You ain't better than this dude. That was the difference in the series.
Well, I think both things to be right. I do, Ron.
I could have got more help.
I do feel where you're coming from, and I feel where Jimmy Butler's coming from. Like I see it both ways. I see it both ways. Whereas maybe Pat Riley could have got him some bigger names. Right, Pat Riley could have got not Jimmy, could have got the team.
Well, they swung and missed on the Lillard and the Bill trade.
Right, well, but the thing about it is, let's get Damian Lillard out of here. They were never getting Dame because they weren't going to give up Bam and they weren't going to give up Tyler Hero to get.
They were going to give him Tyler. Remember, nobody wanted Tyler at the time. Remember?
But Portland
was really the problem.
Right. But I don't think. Okay, so they weren't going to give up Bam, that's what they wanted.
Sure.
And so Dame was never on the table for Miami. It was a big thing.
Not for Bam, he wasn't. No.
Right. So it was a big discussion. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They had no intention on ever giving up Bam Adebayo. So Dame was never really on the table for them. So that's the main thing with that. Other than that, it was like, who are they going to get? Paul George, DeMar DeRozan, Donovan Mitchell, like Bradley Beal.
They were the deep mid talks too.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. But were these guys realistic options? If so, how come it didn't happen? Are we going to blame Pat Riley? If so, so be it. We can do that. But also, I do want to say Pat Riley put together teams that were competitive. They was competitive teams they put together. They went to long runs. I can't, if I'm Jimmy Butler and I look at my team, I'm like, we've been to East, we've been to a bunch of Eastern Conference finals. We went to 2 finals. Mm-hmm. Am I just gonna act like I just carried the squad all by myself and did this and I didn't have no help? Or am I gonna admit that these guys who Ron, to Ron's point, aren't big names and they're not household names, but they played their position. Caleb Martin played great to help them get to the Eastern Conference Finals. These guys these undrafted guys, these guys that nobody wanted or whatever, these dudes, Pat Riley clearly seen something in them and he was right. So let's just not act like
I think that's why Jimmy wants to get paid, Ox, is because like.
But I'm not mad at Jimmy for wanting to get paid, but I don't think that's any Pat Riley's going to give him that money. And I don't think he should. I'm tired of the whole thank you money narrative. That's what happened with Kobe and the Lakers. I don't think that's a good idea. I'm gonna pay you for what you've done, and I'm gonna pay you for what you're doing. I'm not giving you hundreds of millions of dollars when you're no longer the player you once were. Just for thank you for that. You got paid for that. Jimmy Butler there should be no thank you money from Miami to Jimmy Butler.
Yo,
you did get paid.
I'm about to play this video of Jimmy's actual statement, and then I want you, how you so eloquently do, to basically kind of sum everything up in a nutshell, how you feel about this whole situation. But this is what Jimmy Butler had to say, and this was Friday before he got suspended. Right? This was basically the icing on the cake right here. Y'all let me know if you can hear it.
I don't shoot the ball a lot, but we won't sit here and say that I don't play hard. What will fix it? What do you want to see happen to fix it?
What do I want to see happen? I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball. And wherever that may be, we'll find out here pretty soon. But I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court. But I want to be back to somewhat dominant. I want to hoop. And I want to help this team win. Right now, I'm not doing that.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
Cry, baby. Mars. I'm happy here. I'm happy here off the court. You know what that sounds like to me? I like living here. I just don't want to be with you no more.
I mean, apparently Miami's a great place to live, so I don't blame him.
Mars, you would love Miami.
I seen Tyreek Hill want to leave Miami too. So
Sure, he's got one of the best coaches of the generation.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you crying for?
Ox,
He
this
wants his
thing,
money.
It's not our job to make you happy, Jimmy. You like we're here. You're here to do your job and play basketball. I'm just not happy. Man, I'll be so tired.
some people want to enjoy their job.
Yeah,
Sure,
and they
I can
still.
get
But
with
so wait. So Mars, do you think that Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, and all the head guys over there, do you think they're bringing Jimmy Butler into a toxic work environment? Do we think Miami's a toxic work environment? Do we think it's hectic over there?
I don't work there. Like how I would feel in the situation is not relevant. It's about how Jimmy feels, if we're being honest. If Jimmy doesn't like working there, then he's entitled to say he doesn't like working there. Whether or not we would enjoy working there in Jimmy's spot, it doesn't mean anything.
Well, I'm not saying I would. I'm not saying I would or would not.
Maybe Miami's a great environment. Maybe
the
Miami's the best
question.
environment ever, but maybe it's just not an environment that Jimmy wants to be in right now.
Right. And I'm not saying
I gotta
would.
look right here.
Well, I'm not saying I would or I wouldn't be happy there. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, as I just don't feel like it's our job to go out of our way to make sure, like, oh, you just got to be happy, Like, if you're getting everything you need, you know what I'm saying, everything you need as far as what we promised you financially and all that, and we're not abusing you verbally, physically, mentally, sexually harassment, and any of that type of stuff isn't going on. Then past that, it's like then you're just not happy. Then you just don't want to be happy. This is you wasn't happy in Minnesota. You wasn't happy. Like, Jimmy, at some point, like, come on, bro. Like, what do you want? What else do you want?
I think he wants his money. I think that's what it is.
That's it in
the
a
only
nutshell.
issue.
Oh, okay. Well, then say that. Don't say, oh, I'm just not happy. Say, I want to get paid. Be real about it, Jimmy. Stop pussyfooting around, beating around the bush.
No, he's not gonna get paid elsewhere. So his goal of getting traded because he's not getting paid is not that's not going to change anything. No team is giving him a long-term extension. So if his aim is, I want to get paid, but Miami's not going to pay me, so trade me to someone that will, then that's a stupid ambition. So,
Mars, do you think, really quickly, Mars, do you think that there's a team that he could trick into a 2-year, $75 or $80 million deal, or 3-year deal for $120?
3 years is wild. No.
2 year, you think 2 year 120 is
Hell no.
it's worth the risk. It's worth
2
a risk.
year 120,
which
No
is
way.
the 60. Yeah, that would be the max. That would be near the max. Yeah, like so.
Never in life.
It's going to be between 110 to
way.
120 for a 2 year full max extension.
Nobody.
He's not getting that, Swiper.
I don't like projecting like how these guys are feeling. I don't know if that's his goal. If his goal is about money, then yeah. If his
That's what we talking about. We ain't talking about feelings, Mars. We just talking about the bread. That's what we talking about.
But we're assuming that that's why he wants to get traded when we don't know that to be the case. But if that is the case, then I think this is stupid because no team is offering him 2 years, 120 million. Like,
Would you do a straight swap if you were
That's
Miami
what I'm calling him
with Chris Middleton? If you were the Bucks, and like
if I was the Bucks, I would trade Chris Middleton for Jimmy Butler if it was possible. But I don't know the financials of all of.
yeah, because I think they might be a second different team actually, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so if they could, like Chris Middleton, yeah, he's washed respectfully. But if they could get Jimmy Butler, that would be a great trade for them, in my opinion. But I don't think it's possible. But if I'm looking at it, from everything I know about Jimmy Butler, which is only based on what I see, because obviously I don't know the guy personally, he looks like someone who wants to play meaningful basketball. He looks like someone who wants to win games. He looks like someone who is a competitor, wants to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And Miami just aren't in the position to do that. So I think he wants to win, if I'm being honest. So maybe it is about money and I'm wrong and I'm giving Jimmy too much credit.
Is this the space that we're in now, Mars? At 35 years old, I've made enough money. I've got all the accolades.
I think he wanted to win when he was making a lot of money too. I just think he didn't, but I think he wanted to. And I think now he still wants to win. And Miami seems to be going in a direction where I think it's pretty evident they aren't going to win. Like, this team is not a team built to win. And I agree with Ron in the fact that they didn't do enough to surround Jimmy and Bam and Tyler Hero, if that's the case, with the pieces required to win a championship. It's great when guys like Gabe Vincent and Max Strus play above their means. But if you are relying on them to play above their means every year in order to have a shot at winning, I think that's an unreliable, unsustainable business model. It's an unsustainable winning model. You got to have some guys who are more reliable than a Max Strus, who we know is liable to go 6 for 7 one game and then 0 for 11 the next. We need something more sustainable.
Which happened, by the way. Which actually happened.
We need someone better than a Caleb Martin who can look like an Eastern Conference Finals MVP, but then can also look like someone who probably shouldn't even be on the court in different series. So you just need something better than that. And they didn't do that for whatever reason. So
where's that money supposed to come from, though? That's what I want to know. If
from the contracts you've already given people.
If Bam's getting what he's getting, Tyler's getting what he's getting, Jimmy's getting what he's
Bam
getting.
just got paid.
When 3-year, what was it? 3-year extension? That was like Anthony Davis money. I think they got the same contract, if I remember correctly. 3 year 160.
I want to go back to
so Ron, you're saying that they were supposed to go get somebody else and then now not pay Bam?
No, my thing is from the beginning. Like, obviously in 2020 they overachieved. Like, Tyler Hero wasn't expected to come out and be that good of a player. Like, he was. We probably thought he was going to be a good player. We didn't know he was going to be that good that soon. Bam Adebayo, nobody was expecting year 3 Bam Adebayo to anchor a defense to the championship. And then Jimmy Butler, we didn't know if Jimmy Butler was that good.
I don't agree with that at all in 2020.
We don't know what
I'm talking about you guys in the mask. You guys up here having revisionist history is ridiculous. Nobody expected
they
the Miami
4-1 the Bucks for a
year.
reason, though. In the regular season,
and they were a top 5 seed in the East.
In the regular season, they were giving the Bucks issues.
Top 5 seed in the East.
Yeah, you guys trying to act like people expected this Miami team to be a contender.
That's crazy.
That's not what I'm doing.
That's not Milwaukee Bucks fool's gold every year.
But that's not what I'm doing. No, I'm talking about what Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra expected from the team that they see every day that they put together. Ryan, you can't say that. You can't say what Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley.
If Pat Riley came and was in Mark's screen and said we expected the 2020 Heat to win the NBA championship, I would tell him he's a goddamn lie.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he 100%. You don't know what Pat Riley knows.
But here's also the thing, though.
You have no idea what
Pat Riley probably thinks they can win a chip this year.
Thank you. And that's also what I was going to say. When all of us think our teams are going to win a championship, Jordan comes up here and says that the Houston Rockets are going to win a championship. Swiper thinks the Nuggets are going to win a championship. Chill, you think the Cavs and the Celtics are.
Sure.
Ox will come up here after everything the Kings has went through and said that the Sacramento Kings are going to win a championship this year. Debo's home. Sabonis is Sabonis. Everybody's going to say that about their team. But to be frank, the roster that he put together from the moment Jimmy got there till today is inadequate.
If we're talking about revisionist history, Ron, if we're talking about revisionist history, I thought that what the Bucks were doing, they were at the top of the East and they were rolling. And then when COVID hit, kind of threw a monkey wrench and everything. I thought the Lakers would win an NBA championship that year anyway. But in terms of the East, I like what the Bucks were doing. When the Miami Heat dropped them, I liked them against anybody else at that point. When the Bucks were out, Giannis ended up rolling his ankle. This isn't revisionist history. This is exactly what happened. When Giannis rolled his ankle and he was out, and in what Jimmy Butler said, we would have beaten them anyway. He said that. With that being said, once Milwaukee got dropped and they were the number 1 seed and they were out, Miami was still a top 5 seed. And I liked them against anybody at that point. Did I think they could win the NBA championship? Let's chill out on that. I already said that I thought that the Lakers were winning the NBA championship. With that being said, when they go to the NBA finals against Denver, I didn't think they could beat them. Now you talk about adding Damian Lillard to this roster. Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, that they do add Damian Lillard to this roster. What's the flaw in Damian Lillard? The flaw in Damian Lillard is that he doesn't defend at a championship level. Am I asking for Drew Holiday? No, I'm not asking for an all-league defender, but I am asking for a guy to compete. And at that time, he wasn't doing that. And if we put him on that Miami Heat team, we don't have enough guys to protect Damian Lillard as a defender. We don't.
What year are you talking about, Chill?
Any years.
You talking about
And last year in particular, when they not this summer that just passed, but the summer of 23. The summer of
If they
23.
had Dame and Bam in the first round, they might have won a game. I mean, maybe.
Oh, well, the issue is that we assume we know what Eric Spoelstra knows. On top of that, we also are trying to act like Pat Riley tore Victor Oladipo's quad. You know what I'm saying? Like they had squads, but Miami had good teams. Miami had really good teams.
Yeah, we're 30 minutes to the show. We agree that Bam, or let's consensus. Jimmy did a lot of really good things in Miami, but it's time to move on for everybody, including Pat Riley.
Yeah, and we will see here. Basically, the 7-game suspension is basically a 7-game runway for the Miami Heat.
They said he might come back, Ron. All right. They said he might be expected to play if after the end of the 7-game suspension. By the way,
yeah. Well, I mean, the Heat have acknowledged that they're actively looking to move him. Jimmy Butler said he doesn't want to be there, obviously. So all indications are pointing towards.
Remember the NFL, the
Jimmy won't be
NBA
there
with
after
Anthony
7
Davis when they knew they were trading and made him play at least 20 minutes a game, and they would just sit him. So
yeah, Swiper. I don't think he's going to be back after these 7 games. I think this is a 7-game runway for them to essentially move him.
Yeah, Warriors time.
We'll see, and we'll obviously monitor the situation closely. The minute that Jimmy Butler gets traded, we'll break the news and we'll for sure talk about it. But let's continue to move on, because it's a crazy weekend and we had a lot going on. Arch sent through $100 super chat though, and he said, "I'd rather have Broccoli leave. I will finally get my credit."
Yeah, the green hair. And Bam Adebayo saying that it's my team anyway.
I got you.
The way he playing, I don't know if he want the limelight on him.
You need to spend $100 on a layup machine for sure. Shut up.
I don't know what he got going on right now, but it's tough.
All right, fellas. Well, let's get into it. A lot of you guys would say that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA. And then a lot of you would say that Victor Oladipo is the next best thing that the NBA has.
Victor Oladipo, number 2 pick in the 2013 draft. Put some respect on Victor Oladipo.
Yes, Victor Oladipo.
Victor Oladipo is not. No, he is not. No.
I mean, I was told he was the missing piece to win the championship for the Heat.
No, he's not.
Victor Wembanyama, y'all.
Yeah, that dude. Now that's different. Yeah, he's different.
Supposedly the next best player in the NBA. Well, these two clashed not only once but twice this weekend, and in both games, they put on master classes. This is what happened Friday, and we'll go game by game, but we'll just talk about Friday. Victor Wembanyama scored 35 points, had 18 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. And as if that wasn't enough, Nikola Jokic came through with 41 points, 18 rebounds as well, 9 assists, and 2 steals. And it wasn't enough for the MVP because the Spurs won this game by a score of 113-110.
Oh, you want us to talk about that game? Okay.
Yeah. Let's I mean, it was a masterclass.
I thought you were gonna talk about both games and then we were gonna talk about them both together. But okay. Yeah. The first game was great. One thing I liked was the Russell Westbrook guarding Wemby. I think that was a really good matchup. Russ took that matchup and did really well in that matchup, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was incredible. Russ.
Every time Wemby put the ball on the floor, he was able to just make it difficult on Wemby. I don't know how many turnovers he had. I want to say like 8. 6 or 7. Oh, I think it was 8. But and then you also just looking, it's like, and then Wemby realized, hey, I don't really need to put the ball on the floor. I could just turn around, face up, and I'm 7'4", and it's like, oh, I could just shoot over you. So when Wemby like came to that realization, you just saw like, you just see the flashes of like 4 years from now, when Wemby gets stronger and you can't push him out 4 or 5 feet away from where he wants to be, there's gonna be nothing you can do. Like right now, there's some things you can do. Like when he puts the ball on the ground, you can target it when he's putting the ball on the floor, and like the handle's not great, it's not exactly functional. But when he gets stronger, like you're going to be at his mercy. And it's very, very scary. Defensively, he's still a game changer. He makes Jokic work for all of his points whenever they're both matched up. Now Jokic can still score because Jokic is weird, But he still makes Jokic work. He makes Jokic think about having to use different angles that he doesn't really have to go to against most people. Like the difference when Zach Collins is in the game versus when Jokic is in versus when Wemby's in the game.
It's night and day. Yes,
like Zach Collins is one of the worst defensive bigs in the NBA. So like Jokic is just there eating, getting whatever he wants, finishing around the rim. And then Wemby comes in, all of a sudden, Jokic is having to shoot shots high off the glass and he's trying to navigate around him. He tried to make like some left-handed scoop around Wemby, and Wemby just blocked him like it was the easiest block of his life.
Miles, in your estimation,
then,
when you watch Wemby, in your estimation, because you just said in 4 years, where's the gap between him and the rest of the players in the league in 4 years? If this goes the way you think it's going to go,
4 years,
what's the gap?
So when Wemby will be 25 4 years from today. When Wemby's 25,
what's the gap between
if
him and
everything
everybody?
goes how I think it can go, there will be no one within like a tier of him. Like everyone.
So it'll be him and then everybody else.
Yes. If everything goes how I think it can go. Now,
barring injury, because I think that's
there's definitely things that like
yeah,
I might be projecting that might not just pan out the way I want it to. Like his face-up jumper might not ever get to the level that I'm hoping it can, or three-point consistency might not be there fully, or he just might not be able to get as strong as I'm thinking he can because of how tall he is and his center of gravity. And so there's obviously things that might not happen. But if I'm saying how I think things could go, he will be so far and away better than everyone that it won't even be funny. But I think what makes Wemby so special is that I don't see how you can say there's 10 players better than him. Like at 20, 21, he just turned 21. Happy birthday. I don't think you can say there's 10 players better than him.
When his jumper's going,
he's like,
I have
he's
a
like
hard
the seventh best player in the NBA, in my
Yeah.
opinion. He's like the seventh best player in the league.
And what?
So-
That's when you get the AD.
No.
AD's
Mars,
around that group. He's
when
about
his
the seventh
when
best
his
player.
jumper is falling, I don't think there's 5 definitive better players in the world. Because
I
think
agree with
about
that. When
think
he's
about
shooting
the
40%
distance.
from three,
Who you got, Swiper? Go make your statement, and then I want to hear who are the guys when Wemby's at his absolute best.
Yeah,
when
I
his jumper's
think
falling.
Wemby and
better?
all of the same metrics that we use as value players, like Wemby's grading out consistently as a top 5 to 3 player this year. But when Wemby's jumper is on, because of the defensive value, when you're basically deterring the Nuggets. Now, to be fair, the Nuggets still dominated paint points, but it took them a full 3 quarters to adjust to this version of Wemby. And I think that like Wemby, when his jumper is going, I don't think there's 5 players that are better in the league. And I would say that honestly, like I'm really like I don't.
So how consistent is Wemby's jump shot?
It's
as
been
of
very
today?
consistent.
How consistent? So if that's
over the last
so
21 games, he's at 39% from 3 on 10 attempts.
all right,
Yeah.
so that's the long ball. So is that the long
Well, that's
ball?
what it is.
Or is that is that the separator? Is it mid-range game?
Modernize
Because
your
this is what I'm thinking about.
modernize your understanding of jump shooting in this sense.
Well, he's still shooting 46% on mid-range shots this year.
Right.
So it sounds like his jump shot is consistent.
Wemby's
So that
not
means
scared to
that
shoot that
Wemby's a top
mid-range.
five
Like
player.
at
He's
all.
shooting
It
like
sounds like
88% from the free throw line. So like the free throw line is often an indicator of some like level of touch and proficiency.
But
in terms
Mars,
of shooting the ball. Like he's good. He's a good shooter.
maybe
better than Joel Embiid.
maybe there's some real pushback here, but I'm generally like
Slow down.
I would not be shocked. Number one, I think at this rate he makes first team all NBA. He's getting MVP on the next Bonton poll that comes out. He's going to be top 5 in MVP voting, I think. I would not be shocked. Honestly, like I think you can make an argument he's been the 3rd or 4th best player in basketball for the last 25 games of the year. 3rd or 4th. I don't know. Maybe I'll take Giannis out, but let's say 4. I would say he's
So
been the 4th
Jokic,
best.
Giannis, and Shea.
I think Jokic, Shea, Giannis.
The order wasn't relevant. It was just
Sure. Well, yeah, Wemby. I think Wemby's been after that. I think Wemby's been better than everybody else in the league.
But
in this stretch, I can agree. Over the course of the season, this season, I'd have him as the 5th or 6th best player in the NBA. I think, and then
better than KD, better than Anthony Davis, better than
Everybody.
KD, better than Anthony Davis, better than James, better than
Everybody.
Donovan Mitchell, better than those guys. Okay,
Everybody
Yes.
chill. He is ridiculous.
And then like in terms of like overall player, like I still believe in the existence of a healthy Joel Embiid.
Yep.
And I still think that player is better
looks
than
like
Wemby.
it's coming. Looks like it's coming around. Looks like it's getting
So
better.
I would say Joel Embiid in general is a better player than Wemby, but this season he obviously hasn't been. And we're going to talk about Kawhi too. But if there's a healthy Kawhi out there, I still think he's probably better than Wemby as well.
Mhm.
But like everyone else, nah. So Wemby, by however I want to slice it, I think is a top 10 player in the NBA. But this season, I would say he's been like the 5th or 6th best player in the NBA, and he just turned 21. So
when I watch the flaws of Wemby, because I see all the good things from Wemby, right? I see the stop and pop game. I see how much space he covers on the perimeter when he's closing out on shooters, which makes it almost impossible for shooters to get off good shots against him because of the amount of space that he covers, right? I see him around the rim as a rim protector, just a rim protector alone, Mars. I ain't talking about communication. I'm not talking about shifting. I'm not talking about his aroma. I'm just talking about when you come down the lane and he's at the rim, it's almost impossible to score against him unless you're throwing it over the top of him. And that's very rare. I haven't really seen anybody throw it over the top of Wemby. However, this is what I'm talking about.
DeAndre Hunter did.
DeAndre Hunter, again, that's one. I haven't seen many, like I said, I haven't seen many guys throw it over the top of him. With that being said, when I think about what he can be and what he's gonna be, that's because of what I'm seeing now. Like when I talk about the communication, when I see the switchability, when I see him on the perimeter not being able to move his feet, because that's what the game is today, right? When I see him not being able to move his feet, like I think he will be able to in the future. Like when I see him around the rim being able to rebound more than he does now. When I see him in the paint being a better defender than what he is, closing out more in the future. That's where I'm thinking to myself, okay, he doesn't have it together yet, but we're getting there. We are getting there.
No one has more paint gravity in the NBA than Wemby, though, right now.
As an offensive player or a defensive
player? There's not a player that has more paint gravity than he does.
That
deters more shots.
I don't know if I can argue that, but I can counter that with that there's also big guys, because that's where the game is played a lot on the perimeter. There's big guys who are more switchable, who are more dangerous on the perimeter than Wemby is. And they put Wemby in spaces where he can switch, and he doesn't look nearly as sharp as Bam. But again, he doesn't look nearly as sharp as Evan Mobley.
Evan Mobley, functionally, just respectfully, and Jared Allen, their defense is not what's anchoring them this year. It's their offense. I would say Evan Mobley's going to be. No, it is. No, for the team,
that offense is better than that defense.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, it's the 3-point they're shooting and their efficiency. I think the difference. The difference with Wemby is Wemby functionally, because of how big he is, chill, and I actually think, to your point, he doesn't know what he doesn't know yet. Like he's still so young. Like he's not a deer in headlights, but he doesn't. I could do whatever I want. He just doesn't know how to access it all the time. But the Nuggets, even in that 2-game series, there will be multiple possessions where everybody but Joker, Michael Porter Jr. on one play, but everybody but Joker, every single time they got within restricted area space, they would run out of the paint.
They'll run them out of the paint.
Like they wouldn't even put the ball up. Like, you know what I mean? So even like you can't even measure that, you know, in block shots per se, because like Wemby he was averaging 3 blocks a game, I think, in this little 2-game stretch. But if you just watch him like move, Murray, Brown, Russ, everybody, they're all moving around him because of like just the level of, again, paint gravity that he does have. But like I said, I think Wemby, I said coming into the year, I think he was going to be solidified top 10 by the end of the season. And I am also saying that I was wrong. Like I was wrong. I think he's going to be solidified higher than that at the end of the season. But I think in this 2-game stretch, he averaged in just a 2-game stretch versus the Nuggets, he averaged 27.5, 20.5, 3.5 assists, 3 blocks, 1 steal. Now just 33% from the 3-point line, but he had.
He just say 20 and 20. Is that what I just heard? Did I just say 20 and 20?
27 and 20.
On Joker.
Well,
let's make sure that I heard that correctly.
Yeah,
I heard.
On Russell Westbrook and Peyton Watson, but
yeah,
like,
Russ was incredible defensively.
Jokic was on the floor.
No,
he wasn't in
overtime though, but we'll talk about that in the second game. But like, what? Look, in the minutes that the Spurs like aren't blowing a team out or getting blown out, so the non-low leverage minutes per PPP stats, if anyone's interested, the Spurs have a top 5 defense with Wemby on the floor, and they have the worst defense in the league when he's not. Like, that's Rudy Gobert levels of impact, just in terms of on-off defensive rating.
Yeah,
but then the difference is like they also have one of the worst offenses in the league when he's not on the floor as well. Like, he's everything for the Spurs. Like, and he's in
what Joel Embiid is for the Sixers. Like you, and I don't. And to be honest with you, Miles, when I watch San Antonio, they don't even run the offense through him. By the way, which they should.
Be going away from him sometimes. Which
yes, they don't even run the offense through him, and that's largely due to the fact that he doesn't really know what he's doing yet. So he hasn't figured that part out. But once he does figure that part out, because Ox being a big guy, knowing that there are bigs who get easy buckets, like running to the block and getting something quick when you're in transition. Well, Wemby doesn't play like that. And the reason why Wemby doesn't play like that, because he wasn't raised like that. He was raised with Dirk Nowitzki and KD. That's the model of his game. He doesn't know how to play like Jabbar or Shaq, with a barrier guy that's running with him that's smaller to run right to the rim and get the ball. No, he's a stop and pop big, because that's what the game is today. Now, when he puts that other stuff in his game, which I don't think that's going to be something that's regularly, but I think when he puts stuff like that in his game, I think that's going to unlock even more of his game, because when he's running to the rim and he's got smaller guys on him, the defense collapses. With the defense collapsing, he gets the ball, he fires it out to whomever is on the perimeter, knock down open shots.
Well, Chill, I think that's actually the weakness of Wemby, though, to be fair, because I think Mars brought up Wemby, when he got Peyton Watson to rustle on him, was getting strapped. And a lot of this is whenever he took a dribble, it was a turnover if he got a shot up. If he did or if he didn't get a shot up. And then every time he didn't take a dribble and faced up, he scored, basically. And the issue with Wemby is Wemby's hands are so big, Chill, that when he swings the ball, they're not strong yet. And so Russ, Peyton, whoever, and Jokic actually in the second game too, and in overtime, as soon as he goes low, you just rip the ball. You can rip the ball out of his hands. He just doesn't have the strength to be able to maneuver that. But I think to your point, Chill, once he gets older, gets stronger with that swing through, and then he's able just to, like, you know what I mean, just be able to know where he needs to place the ball, then it's over. Yeah, it's over. Like, there's nothing you can do about it.
The Spurs have the 29th net rating in the NBA without Wemby on the floor. 29th. Like, they are the only team worse than them per net rating is the Washington Wizards. They're worse than the Pelicans, the Blazers, the Jazz, the Raptors, the Hornets. Whoever, all the bad teams, they're worse than them when Wemby's not out there. And then when he's out there, they perform like a top 6 team in the NBA. Like,
yeah, they're +6 when he's on the court this year. It's crazy.
So what are we doing?
It's disgusting.
If that's the case, then what are we doing? Then Wemby should be on the floor more, because it's obvious that we're much better with him playing. Now, are you trying to preserve him? Because
you don't want to, like, you're not winning a championship this year. You don't need to rush the process. Like,
how much is he playing?
32-ish minutes, 32, 33.
That's more. That's good, more than last year too.
Yeah, last year he was at 29, I think. So the
last
minutes have gone
year
up.
we wanted him to play more.
Yeah, but 29 was crazy. So yeah, but like 30, you keep him around 32 to 34 minutes. I think that's fine. And like, this is a Wemby that I still think Wemby's I don't expect Wemby to be a 9, 10, 3 gamer guy. When he's in his prime, I don't expect that to be the case. I think my theory is when the Spurs aren't trying to win championships, Wemby is allowed to experiment more than he would when they're trying to win at the highest level. So I think Wemby's 3-point volume will probably go down to about 5 or 6 on like slightly better efficiency, better shot selection. So he'll be like 37, 38%, 5 or 6 threes a game. He'll play more in the mid-range, more with that face-up game that seems to be coming along, especially in recent games. And then he'll play more as a play finisher, pick and roll, all of those things. So I think you'll see the efficiency go up. You'll see less of like the off-dribble threes and stuff. And like overall, he just won't shoot 9 threes a game. But I think when the team's not, it's similar to what Toronto's doing with Scottie Barnes. Like, Scottie Barnes is allowed to pull up threes out of pick and roll now, because like we're not winning anyway. So let's just give him some reps with something that could be useful down the line. I think that's what the Spurs are doing. It's just like Wemby is still so good, he's able to impact winning to the point where the Spurs might be in the playoffs this year. I don't think the timeline was, let's get to the playoffs this year. But he's so good, they might get there. And then you get Wemby with playoff experience earlier than you expected, which is a great thing. Like, playoff experience is never a bad thing. I think he'll struggle offensively in the playoffs, especially when you look at the potential matchups, assuming they'll be in the play-in. If they do make it, it would be OKC, Memphis, Houston, maybe a Denver series, maybe the Clippers. Like, all of those teams, I think, have personnel that can disrupt Wemby offensively. So I guess what I'm asking is, if/when Wemby does struggle offensively in the postseason, please don't start calling him overrated. And please don't start saying he's not top 15, not top 20. Please don't do that. Like, I'm
but that's gonna happen, Mars. And the reason why that's gonna happen, Mars, and the reason why that's gonna happen is because that's what people predicate being great off of. What you do in the postseason only. Not what you do in the regular season and the postseason, and not what you're building up to be. It's what you do in the postseason only, because we do the same thing with Jimmy Butler. Because Jimmy Butler, over the years, Jimmy Butler was good in the regular season. And then he goes into the postseason, and he has one of those great series, or he'll have 2 great series. Jimmy Butler is now a top 5 player in the game. Jimmy Butler is now a top 7 player in the game, completely forgetting about the fact that he missed 16, 17 games throughout the course of the regular season. He had some stinkers, right? And he wasn't awesome throughout the entire playoffs. He was damn good in some series, but he wasn't awesome. So that's 100% going to happen, Moss. No doubt about it. Because Wemby's they're going to play, if they end up making the playoffs, or they end up in the play-in tournament. They end up, let's say they play the Lakers, and he might struggle against Anthony Davis. Wemby ain't what he think. Wemby's not what we think he is. Yes, he is. He's just not that yet. That's all. He's just not that yet. 100% he is.
So when we talk about Wemby, we're talking about projections on what he's gonna be.
Well, some of how good he is right now, some of it is the projection. It's a mixture of both. Right now,
what if he doesn't get any better? How was that? How was he?
I don't see that happening.
Then he would just be a top 10 player in the league for like a decade.
More,
which is, I guess, kind of disappointing considering like the trajectory. But like that's what he would be. He'd be a perennial All NBA guy, perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate. So he'd be the best defender in the league for a really long time.
He still wins a couple DPOYs.
He
might get a couple MVPs actually.
He's going to win one this year. And if the Spurs are good in the next 2 or 3 years, he's going to win an MVP. So like he's right now he's at that level where that's possible.
I think he's the future of the league, to be honest with you. And y'all dudes roasted me for that because I think it's going to be a bunch of those guys running around in the league, and that's what the play style is going to be. Now, Kill, how do you expect the league to have a bunch of 6'10" to 7'3" guys running around? Well, okay, first of all, Orlando got 5 guys on their crew that's 6'10" and above. That's almost half their roster. That's number one.
But that's
number 2,
6 inches shorter than Wemby.
But what I'm saying is that's going to be what the model is: 6'10" to like 7'2", 7'3". And if you look at what the NBA was in 2005, at the height of the 8 seconds or less offense, the Suns were shooting 25 threes a game, and that was nuts. But you couldn't win that way, right? You couldn't win that way. Enter Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Now those 25 threes go to like what, 35 or maybe 40? 15 years later, we got teams combining shooting 100 threes. 15, 20 years ago, there was no way that you can sell that this was the future of the NBA, that you couldn't win, that you could win this way. There was no way that was going on. This is a copycat league that we live in. Wemby, I think, when he continues to get stronger, wins the league MVP at some point, I think they're going to win with him. I think that play style, I don't think Wemby in particular, but I think that play style that Wemby has, that's going to be the future of the NBA. You're going to have a bunch of 6'10" to 7'3" guys. If you don't have this skill set, you're not going to be able to survive.
I think sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I think the idea of the bigger wings who can do a lot of things, like I think that's happening right now. I think there's drawbacks to that play style. And I think if you get to a point where you have a league full of big wings, I understand you're not saying Wemby size because I don't think we're going to find many 7'4" humans who move like him. So expecting that would be a bit weird. But like 6'10", 7'1" maybe, who can move like that, that's fine. I think the drawbacks to that is like it's the same thing with the Wemby handle. Like if you ask them to put the ball on the floor too much, that like your team's going to lead the league in turnovers. Like it's not functionally conducive. Like one series I would one series I would hate is for him to play OKC. He will average 7 turnovers a game. And like that's not me over exaggerating. He will average 7 turnovers a game. Playing against a team like OKC with the way he plays right now, if they ask him to put the ball on the floor or he's trying to post up a Lou Dort who can get up under him, he will turn the ball over 2 times a quarter. Like that's what will happen. And if you have a league full of a bunch of big wings where you're asking everyone to dribble the ball, a team like OKC is going to force you into like 20 turnovers. That's the drawback of it. So I don't know if we're going to go fully invested in the big wings because at some point you need a reliable ball handler, and expecting a 6'11" guy to be a reliable ball handler for your team is probably unsustainable. It's a similar problem KD's had throughout his career, and his handle's a lot tighter than Wemby's will ever dream of being. But he's 6'11", and you ask him to run on your offense, you end up seeing a lot of turnovers. KD's like averaging a bunch of turnovers right now in Phoenix, and like a big part of that is because you're asking him to run your offense, and it just isn't sustainable when you're that size.
Well, we're not. What we're
so
not
that's my
doing,
concern.
Mars. What we're not doing is we're not eliminating the other guys. Like I'm not eliminating the lead guard, right? I'm not eliminating the dirty work guy. But what I am saying is that we're going to put guys like Wemby's skill set in space where they can be the most productive. So instead of giving them the basketball 25 feet away from the basket and telling them to create, no, that's not going to happen. No, what we are going to do is we are going to get them in stop and pop. In addition to getting them in stop and pop, we are going to get them in the mid range and limit them putting the ball on the floor where they can be limit them putting the ball on the floor and them being able to just jump shoot over guys. That's what the 6'10" to 7'2" guy is going to look like in my assessment when I watch the league and I watch guys like Wemby, because I think that's what the league is about to look like in the next 10 to 15 years.
All I know is for the league is I just better have fun while they can. Just have fun, enjoy it while you can, man. Because personally, I'm not as high on Wemby as y'all are, and the reason is because I don't think I don't want to say half as good as he's going to be, but I think when Wemby really figures out what's going on and realizes what he can do and just sticks to those things, it's going to be ugly, bro. Like, it's not going to be fair. People are going to be upset because I personally, I just see him do some things. I'm like, Wemby, what are you doing? Like, it's just, he really upsets me because he's really that good. And when you see all the stuff he's good at and he sticks to those things, nobody can get with him. You know what I'm saying? So,
Fox, do we have a potential rule changer in the game? And Wemby?
I don't know. I don't think so. I hope not.
I mean, what rule could they possibly change?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because he's just playing boss. It's not like he's dominating in one spot, and you know what I'm saying. Just you know what I mean. It's just so it's like what, like to Mark's point, like what could they possibly change? If anything they change, right, for him, it's just blatant cheating. Like you're just cheating. You're trying. That's what you're doing. You're cheating because he's too dominant. Wemby is going to terrorize the league in a couple seasons. You know what I mean? Once he gets
doing it right now, but I get what you're saying.
Right. And that's my point. What I'm saying is like you see what he's doing. You look at the stats, and it's like, damn, he's doing that. But then when I watch it, I'm kind of like, it's just, like
he's this good with as many flaws as we can.
Exactly. More just like he has clear, huge deficiencies that don't matter because he's 7'6" and fast and long, and he can do everything. So it's like the deficiencies don't really matter, but I can't ignore him. You know what I'm saying? And then and when he knocks some of that stuff out, when he gains 15, 20 pounds, when he understands what you said, like with Russell Westbrook, I could just turn around, just do this. I don't got to, you know what I'm saying? When he gets in that bag, because even greats, all the greats had a learning curve. So we're not just going to act like Wemby isn't going to have one too. You know what I'm saying? Like all the greats, it took all of them a little time to figure it out. So when Wemby really figures it out, it's just like, I'm sorry for y'all. Like, I feel really bad for the NBA. Like, I really do, because Wemby's not close to as good as I think he's going to be.
And this is one of the reasons why, like, throughout these last few weeks, last month, however long it's been, when people have been saying, oh, the NBA's trash, the NBA's cooked, the ratings are down. I'm just like, you guys just aren't paying attention to the bright spots. You guys are just running to something and trying to jump on a narrative. Victor Wembanyama's running around the league. Jokic and Giannis are having historical seasons. SGA has taken his game to a whole nother level. The Cleveland Cavaliers are running through the NBA. The Boston Celtics are still the Boston Celtics. It's like it's a lot of great things going on. It's a lot of great young players. It's plenty of things to look at the NBA and look at basketball and be happy about. And Victor Wembanyama is absolutely at the top of that list. But let me get to the second game, though. So first game, obviously the Spurs won. Well, ironically, the NBA wanted to give us Christmas in January so soon by giving us a back-to-back with Wemby and Jokic. They played Friday and turned around and played again on Saturday. Saturday was in San Antonio, right, Swiper?
Yeah.
And y'all shouldn't have made it out alive. But the Nuggets barely escaped by the skin on their teeth. They won in overtime by a score of 122-111. And as if Jokic's first game wasn't amazing, he took his game to the next level for the next game and had 46 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Victor Wembanyama, on the other hand, he had a humble 20 points, 23 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think Jokic, what he's proven over the last several seasons is that if he sees you enough, he starts to figure out like tendencies. And Jokic in these 2 games versus Wemby was 15 of 27, scored 39 points, 5 of 10 from 3. And I think he changed up his shot diet early because he had to make those threes in order to pull him out of the paint. But I think the best shot of the night, Chill, I don't know if you remember this. Jokic got the ball in
elbow
overtime.
jumper.
He scored 9 points in overtime. And Mars, you already picked it out. He got the ball on the block, and instead of front facing with his left foot ox, he front faced with his right to create more distance. But then what he did was he dropped his shoulder on his shooting shoulder, dropped it all the way down to like as close to the ground as could have been to get Wemby to drop his height. And then he was able to extend up, get a quick glance at the rim, and then shot the ball straight into the air over Wemby's arms, and then like nothing but net from the mid-range. I mean, it was just like, it was impeccable. I mean, honestly, I think the Nuggets, Jamal Murray was horrible. He was
Swiper.
11 of 33, 11 of 33 from the field, I think, in both of those games. It just was like inexcusably bad for Jamal. Michael Porter Jr. had 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists. He was 4-9 from 3. And then in the second half alone in that game, Michael Porter Jr. had 21 points in 5 rebounds. He was 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 3 of 6 from 3, and 7 of 10 from the line. And he won the game.
I think he was their biggest problem, Swiper. When I think about the guy, because I already know what Joker's going to be, but I felt like MPJ was their biggest problem, and that was a problem that they couldn't solve. Because I watch him move without the ball. That's why I love Joker so much, because I always feel like something good's going to happen when Joker has the ball, and I feel like MPJ was picking different spots where he knew he could be the most effective, even at the long ball line. And Mars and I have had this conversation about MPJ being having one of those guys who can shoot shots where he's never seen a shot that he doesn't like. But I feel like he was more effective. I feel like he was way more effective at picking his spots, getting screens, fades. And I think he's more effective in terms of shooting. I think he's definitely better as a fade shooter than he is coming off screens. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's his footwork. I just feel like he's better in the half court. I think he's more of a when he's fading off screens and he catches and shoots. I think he's the most effective at that, and in transition also. So I think he was the difference. I already know who Joker was going to be, because I know that Joker's going to give you everything from rebounding the basketball, distributing the basketball. He's going to do all of that stuff. So I cancel Joker out. I feel like what Russ gave you in terms of minutes, I felt like Russ gave me so much more energy in that second game. I felt like he gave me so much more energy than any of those rotation guys did. And he was able to speed the game up and just make them so much better. Now, what does this mean going into whether it's the playoffs or whether we're going into later in the season? I still think Russ can continue doing what he's doing, but he's been great for them.
All right, y'all. Well, speaking of Jokic, Wemby, and a brother named Lester, y'all know what it is. PrizePicks is our title sponsor, and this show is brought to you by the good guys over there at PrizePicks. Salute to them. And if you haven't, you should go ahead and download that app, because over at PrizePicks, it's the best place where you can run your game, control your game, and win your game at any given moment in time. With PrizePicks, you play $5 and you instantly get 50 back in promo funds. Win and only win you use promo code PANEL. Now, we know that the NBA season is here, and it's time to start talking, and it's time to start playing with PrizePicks, the simplest and most electrifying way to get in on NBA action. And we are going to show you guys how to do that right here on the panel. But before we do that, let me ask you something. Are you a basketball expert? Do you know what's going on? Do you know your team like you know the back of your hand? Do you know your favorite players like Swiper knows Jokic? Well, if that's the case, you have no excuses. If that's the case, you should be going to PrizePicks and putting your money where your mouth is. So here's the play, and here's how we're going to draw it up. Download the app PrizePicks. Sign up using code PANEL. You'll get 50 back in promo funds instantly when you play 5. And then you will be a winner like Mars with his Demon picks, or like Chill with his Tatum picks, or like Ox with his Sabonis picks, or like Ron when he chooses guys like the guy I'm about to choose right now. Let's go, fellas. Feast your eyes on the screen. We are going to make our prize picks of the day. Swiper, if you would like to join in, feel free to.
What games are on tonight?
I got you right now. So we got Philly, Phoenix, Brooklyn, Indiana, New York, Orlando, Chicago, San Antonio, Sacramento about to kick the dog out of Miami, Detroit, Portland, Toronto, Milwaukee, Minnesota Clippers, and Memphis, Dallas.
Is there an Embiid and KD points combo?
I'll find out for you right now.
Chill. I believe you have to make another pick. You had who was out for you? Oh, Jaylen Brown didn't play last Friday, so you're gonna have to make 2 picks today.
Okay.
Okay, well, guess there's not. Let me just see what Embiid's got going on.
Mm-hmm.
What's the demon for points?
34 and a half.
Against Mason Plumlee and Nurkic? Let me say that. What's the demon? Wait, what's the demon for KD points? Well, if he has a demon, but he does have a demon. Okay. So KD 30 or Embiid 35. Which one do I trust more?
KD 30 and B 35.
I trust both entirely, but I go with Embiid a bit too much. So I'm gonna go with KD. I'm gonna go with KD. 30 points.
Let's see.
Let me just get mine out the way real quick, y'all.
Sabonis against the okay.
Oh, gee.
Sabonis against Bam.
This is a layup, yo. I
You
can't.
going with it?
This is just too easy.
Josh Hart?
Oh, 30 PRA.
It's cool. They just make it too easy. Like, golly. Okay, who's up?
Chill.
Let me see that Milwaukee Toronto game because I want to go back to a couple of days ago because Mars is out on
Giannis dunks. You going back to Giannis dunks?
Yes, absolutely. Let's go back there. Very much like when I saw Jalen Brunson go for 55. I'm like, no, take the less on that the next game. So where are we with Giannis?
There's no dunks.
Okay,
they know to take that off.
No problem. But I'll tell you what I will take. Because they're not very good. Toronto isn't. So this is going to be a little bit more experiment. So I'm going to take a 3 from Giannis in this game. I am. I'm going to take a 3. I'm going to take a 3 from Giannis in this game. I think he's going to crack one. So I'll take a 3 from Giannis. Yes, sir.
The Bucks going through it right now. They're struggling a little bit. They might need Giannis to do some damage.
They ain't going through it like the Miami Heat, Mars. I watched the Utah Jazz come in their building and beat them by 40.
Yeah, but that's Bryce Sensabaugh. You know he like that. So
wait, Ryan, Chill, you got another one, right?
Do I need another one? Okay,
because Jalen ain't played the other day.
Right. I do get another one. Let me take a look at that Dallas-Memphis game.
Okay. Where you want me to go? Dallas or Memphis first?
Yes.
I'll go Dallas first.
Yes. Dallas first.
No Kyrie tonight. I know that.
No Irv tonight?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So no Irv.
So that means you can expect a Spencer Dinwiddie masterclass. That's what that means.
Maybe. What does that demon look like with Daniel Gafford? Let me see what that looks like. A steal? Nah, I ain't doing that. Yeah.
But he's got a demon for blocks as well. He's got a demon for blocks.
You know what I do like though? I do like that that Derek Lively, that 16 points and 16 points and rebounds. I do like that because I think he can get that off with I think he can get that off with Jaren Jackson.
You don't think he can get 10 and 10? You don't think he can get a double? You don't think he can get a double?
I do think he can get that. I do think he can get that. Let me see that demon again, Moss. I mean, Ox. Take a look at that demon again. Yes, I'll take that with Derek Lively. I think he can get me a double tonight with Jaren Jackson. Yes, I'll take that.
Well, yeah, I can't be the one that spoils the bats, right? Everybody's gonna go demons, I guess.
Yeah, Ron about to take a goblin or something.
Well, Swiper, you want to go first?
Money.
You know, I don't want to force you if you don't want to. You know, I know the Nuggets aren't playing tonight.
You know, let's not.
Oh
break his
yeah,
heart.
Kawhi.
Yeah, Kawhi's back.
There you go, Swiper. I got you.
I expected him to do that, and what he's gonna.
No,
be at
I'll
17.
take the more on Kawhi 15. I think he gets exactly 15 points.
Oh, you are taking Kawhi. That's what's up, Swiper.
Exactly 15.
I know I like you, Swiper.
See, he don't want to take a deal. He's so boring.
All right, cool. Thank you, Swiper, for taking the pressure off me. 20 to 2,400. Y'all are ridiculous. But as if that's not enough, Big Ox,
What up?
give me an H. Give me an A. Give me an L. Give me that.
Oh,
I.
Ali.
Yeah.
I thought he was trying to get Harrison Barnes. I was confused.
Shit, here. Hold on.
If the projection right, I'll take
4
him.
threes. I've seen 4 threes for Halley. You believe in 4 threes, right?
Yeah, I'm nah.
Okay.
Nah, we're just gonna go with this points. My man been cooking lately, and I know y'all been seeing it and act like y'all haven't seen it. You know what? I want to go to assists. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do points and assists. Where is it? What that is?
There is 27 and a half. But we need the demon. So what's the demon? 31 and a half?
Wait a second though. Wait.
Oh,
God,
25 and 10. 25 and 10. 25 and 10.
Or 20 and 15.
24. Okay, Goblin.
Or 18 and 18.
Ron, no goblins go towards your record, bro.
All right. Regular one.
And if you lose a goblin, that counts as a loss. Like
That's 2 losses.
Something like that. Instead of if you're 5 for 9 and you lose a goblin, you're now 4 for 10. Like you, there's
you lose a win and you get a loss.
Yes. There's no way you take a goblin.
Hold on. What just happened? Oh, never mind.
Hey, look, check it out. Give me the demon with Halley points and assists.
You trying to mess up the money, man? You messing up the church's money, but
I would say I would say to Swiper that if he wanted to go with Kawhi's demon points, we'd have a lot more in the prize pool right now. It's cool.
Yeah.
Can we see what we would get if we went with Kawhi's demon points, please?
All right, let me see real quick.
He's not here, so we can all make the executive decision as a collective to put the demon on that.
21. Kawhi can get 21.
No, we can't.
No, I can't.
Let's be serious.
I like where your head's at, boys, especially if it's on Kawhi.
We have to take that. We have to.
How many minutes is Kawhi playing tonight? Did you factor that in?
To look at the prize.
You guys are disgusting.
20 racks. 20 racks. Yeah, we might.
All right, so here's what we go
$20.
So we veto Swiper Kawhi. We going demon Kawhi.
You got my vote. You got my vote.
Yeah, let's do it. Demon
I'll
Kawhi.
take that.
How about that?
I'll take that. Sure. $20 to make 20 stacks. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah,
So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna get just under 5 bent. I'm gonna get 45. Mark's gonna get 45. Chill's gonna get 45. Ox gonna get 45, and then Swiper get whatever's left over because he didn't want to take Kawhi's demon.
He don't get none because he didn't bet.
Yeah, he ain't putting
Swiper wasn't even a getaway driver. He stayed
Wait.
in
Ron, I get how much?
45.
All right. Well, okay. Call sabotage. I get
Okay,
7.
first of all,
I get 6.
Okay,
all I know,
first,
we win 20K. You're not gonna see me here tomorrow. Then it's a point.
That's crazy, Morris. That's
You're not
crazy.
gonna see me.
all I know is Ox Swiper stayed in the car. He ain't even a getaway driver. He just stayed in the car while we was in the bank. He just stayed in there. We can't cut him in, yo.
Hey, chill the whole time talking about this is a bad idea, guys.
Yeah, and then now we get away with the bread, and he's like, yo. I mean, how much do I get? You know what you can't get? Your ass out the car. That's what you can get.
Hey,
Yo,
chill,
Ron, I need to hear you say I get 6, or I'm taking all these demons off right now.
Stop, yo.
I'm not gonna lie. Besides
See,
maybe
this what I'm talking about.
maybe the
We had a
Giannis
plan.
3, I actually think we have a good shot of winning this. I'm gonna be honest. The Giannis 3 is the one I'm scared about.
So
everything else,
are we good? I'm submitting this right now.
Yeah, but hold on. Go up so I can see it and read it.
Oh, right. My bad.
Zoom in a little bit.
Is that a demon? 7.5 points and rebounds for Kawhi Leonard?
Rebounds and assists.
7.5?
Yeah. So can he get 4 rebounds and 3 assists?
Yeah, veto that. I'll take that.
4.
I would much rather take that
That's
than
what
the 20
I'm thinking,
points.
Ron.
That probably
But-
lowers the odds because it's so easy.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get.
All right, let's
yeah.
just see it. Let's just see it. But let's just see it.
Let's see.
Oh
what it
my
looks like.
god, you guys, man!
I just
But
want
if
to see
it's
what it
more,
looks like.
then we got it.
Because here's the thing. Kawhi only gonna play like 20, 22 minutes anyways.
I mean, he's got. There it is, rebounds and assists.
Let's see what it look like.
See, it's not the
No,
same.
no.
man. It's not the same.
Let's stick with the other one, Ron. No,
All
bro,
right,
let's stick with the other one.
Come on, go to the points. Go to the points.
There
Throw
we
it
go.
on there.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. If we went PRA, it would be even more than 20K.
What is this PRA though?
20?
Yeah, if we went 24 and a half.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
let's do the PRA. Let's do the PRA.
If he scored 21, he can give me 2 assists. Like, let's be serious.
Wait a minute. Points, rebounds, and
Oh,
assists.
what? Oh, never mind.
No,
Y'all are
we'll stick with
greedy,
what's
Y'all for sure greedy.
to be honest with you, Ron, I really like them. I really like them 7.5 points and rebounds. But
I think you're gonna hit this PRA.
I want the points and I want the rebounds and assists.
17 and a half. That's not the same.
All right, well, here we
All
go. We'll be here tomorrow to talk about it.
I think Giannis gonna give me a 3 though. I do.
All
I
right,
think Giannis is gonna give
here's
me
what we got going
Y'all
on.
think you sold us with the Giannis 3, but that's all right.
Invested in this right now.
We got a demon pick. Kevin Durant, 29.5 points. More. We got another demon pick. OG Anunoby, Obi-Wan Kenobi, 21.5 PRA. More. We got another demon pick. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. We need you to just hit 1 3, Giannis. 1 3. Can the Greek gods bless us with 1 3? Derek Lively, 19.5 points and rebounds. Yet another demon pick. We need him to go more with that. We got Tyrese Halliburton tonight. 34.5 points and assists. We need Hallie to go more. And last but certainly not least,
Yeah,
he's
why?
back.
Yeah.
He's back. We need 20.5 points more than that from Kawhi Leonard. That's a demon pick as
So
well.
we put $100 on this. What do
We're looking at 100 stacks. That's what we're looking at, bro.
Come on!
We're looking at 100 stacks, bro.
Come on!
We're looking at 100 stacks, Mo.
More than
Bad influence. Never do PC weekend in Vegas.
Ever. Because we ain't get we gonna be broke dealing with
Hey,
Mars.
hey, Morris, what I say last Friday, I ain't hard to convince. So don't say it again. 'Cause we'll do it.
I'm submitting this right now. Y'all.
All right,
I'm
so-
Yeah,
out of here.
let's go, Ox. Let's go before we turn up with something else.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
20
We in.
turns into 20. $20 turns into 20 bands. So that's what we looking at, y'all.
Oh, welcome back, Smacker.
Whew, hey,
I had a phone call.
it'll be a good All-Star weekend, I'll tell you that. I know that much.
Right.
But all right. Y'all know that it is Monday, and you know what Monday brings. Top 5 comments of the week, baby. Appreciate everybody that subscribed. Appreciate everybody that's a member, and appreciate everybody that is locked in the comment section. You guys not only make the show spectacular during the show, well, the live chat, but even after the show, you guys come through, show up and show out in the live comment section or in a post comment section. So appreciate you guys. You guys really bring some thoughtful comments, and you're basically an extension of the show. The show continues to always live on after the show because you guys have so many phenomenal things to say. So before I get into these comments, let me just shout out our Hall of Famers. We got Tracy Steele, Kendall Daniels, Multi Kenny, and Cobra Son of Raditz. If you're not a Hall of Famer yet, step your game up. But let's get into it, y'all. These are our comments of the week. Damn, where Ox go?
He'll be back.
There he is. There he is. All right, cool. First comment of the week is from Yanni Reed 0101. Yanni Reed 0101 said, low-key the best basketball discussion channel on YouTube.
Why is it low key? That's not low key. We are.
Yeah, Yanni. Why is it low-key, Yanni?
Yeah, it's not low key. We are. That's
Chat,
us.
y'all agree with that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
So-
think we're
so-
solid. I think we're decent. I think we're in like the top 50.
All right, moving along. The next comment that we got.
Okay.
This comes from Jason Brendan -TD4QB. So this could be a robot, y'all. This could be AI generated, but either way it goes, this is what Jason said. Jason said Anthony Davis carries the heaviest burden on a nightly basis in the NBA, more than Jokic and Giannis. His backup is a 40-year-old LeBron and Koloko. The second best defender on his team is Max Christie, who has played less than 140 games in his career and is starting. That's how bad the Lakers roster is defensively. Cam Reddish is a regular rotation player for them. Gabe Vincent at 6'2" is their second or third best two-way player. Y'all don't understand. He has not missed a game. Second in the league in free throw attempts. Wemby is averaging half as many free throw attempts, but 10 times the three-point attempts, averaging less than 1 point, or averaging one less point. AD, the most disrespected player in the league.
Well, Mars, you just said it yourself. What's going on with the San Antonio Spurs when Wemby's off the floor defensively?
Oh yeah, they're the worst defense in the league.
I mean, what are we talking about?
Well, to be fair,
that just means that their ass chilled. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the Lakers.
When he's talking about carrying a large burden, I mean, I would say someone elevating their team to top 5 performances. While
that's huge, Ox. We go from being the worst in the league, or arguably the worst in the league, to being top 5 when I'm on the floor.
And Anthony Davis, by the way, Lakers when he's off the court, 117.31. That's pretty bad. When Anthony Davis is on the court, defensive rating 115.41. He has not even a plus 1.0 net rating. But yes, the largest carry job in the NBA. 1,000%.
And also the point about the free throw attempts versus 3-point attempts, I don't think he knows that free throws are more efficient than threes. So if you take twice as many free throws, I expect you to score more points. That's just logical.
And on top of that,
yeah. So then why is this boy out here shooting 12 threes?
9.
Anthony Davis,
and because he can. No, AD shot like 3 threes last night. I want to say, but generally he shoots.
Y'all can say as many stats and numbers and efficiency shit all y'all want. Victor Wembanyama is not as good as Anthony Davis.
Sure, whatever you say, bro.
Thank you.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. If you want to say this season he's been better than AD.
That's the most logical thing you said all day, Swiper.
Let me see.
This season, I think he's been better.
Ox, I got something for you, bro.
What is it? I mean,
is he a better player?
I like
that.
That's fine. I like that.
I do like that. Ox, do you think Victor Wembanyama is playing better this season, but Anthony Davis is a better player than him?
I think Anthony Davis is both.
Okay.
I promise you guys this week, I can't predict the future, but I can promise this is coming this week. You know how we do our little verses, our player versus team versus and all of that?
Yep.
Anthony Davis and Wemby's coming this week.
Please.
Just know that.
I can't wait.
Y'all might have to do it. Y'all gonna be able to lying for your.
Nah, I'm gonna say what I believe.
This Wembanyama agenda is crazy. He's amazing enough without us pretending like.
Do I have a bigger Wemby agenda or Jokic agenda? Which one is it, Ox?
Right, there's nothing in the world bigger than your Jokic.
Definitely
nothing in the world.
Hey,
yeah,
if Jokic stood on Wemby shoulders, that's how big it would be.
We didn't even talk about a 44-14.
It wouldn't even be up to the knees of his agenda if they stood on.
So Swiper be on Twitter. OKC's MVP is their defense. Like we don't see what you're doing with that statement.
Nope. Okay. If I feel like I then said it right after that, not too far along. I think that in the moment watching their defense was what I was more so talking about. But again, it turned out to whatever. I think SJ, if he wins MVP, he deserves it. Like it's not even a conversation. I think he's the best MVP candidate year of any year since 2020 for me. All things around, team success, individual success, numbers, all that stuff. 1,000%.
The best MVP candidate, better than Joker in 2020?
Of any non-Joker MVP year.
That's what I did.
1,000%. They're 30-5. Like it's not even a question.
Here you go, 23 Embiid getting this.
Y'all want. That's what I'm thinking. The guy who led the league in scoring.
No, sir.
Are you kidding me?
Respect. He shouldn't even won that year. He shouldn't even won that year. He shouldn't even won that. But we've already talked about this before. You don't even think he should have won that year. So I think all the way around.
23 Embiid is better than Shea is this year.
Respect.
Do you fight that?
It's a 30-5 record too, though. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I can appreciate the 30-5 record, which has a lot to do with their defense. But Shea is awesome. Shea has been awesome this season.
He's averaging
as a bucket for 2, right? As a bucket getter in the mid range, Shea's been fantastic. But we can't discount.
Embiid was great, but they also
he wasn't great. He was better than that. No, he was way awesome. He was money from the mid range,
SGA is great. They're 30-5. That was my point. That's not individual.
Meanwhile, the Nuggets are the 4 seed, by the way.
They're the 4 seed.
So,
I don't know. What are you saying, Mars? What are you saying?
But we're about to move on. But before we do move on, I just want to say, you remember when Thor got big? Remember after in between after Endgame? Remember when he blew up? Yeah. No.
That was after Endgame.
After Endgame. Remember when he got
You
big?
mean he got big, like literally big, like physically, like
he got fat.
Oh, fat. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you like he hulked up or something. Like, what did I miss? I wasn't there for that. Okay.
That's how big your Jokic agenda is. You know what? Your Jokic agenda. Imagine if Jokic just retired today and he just moved to Serbia and he just ate and drank all day. And he turned into
I have an agenda.
Coca-Cola-Vitch.
I think it's funny I have an agenda, but he just averaged 44, 14, and 10. We didn't even talk about it. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing to talk about.
We spoke about it for literally 3 minutes.
No, we talked about Wemby. We did talk about the Wemby side of this, 1,000%.
And you spoke about the Jokic shot and about how
I'm good. I know, but it was 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes. But typically, if players have that kind of performance, we're like,
we're
going to go into detail about stuff.
We talk about Joker all the time. And
the fact that the best player in the world, that's kind of how it works.
And I get that. And the fact that he got busy against Victor Wembanyama,
I'm saying don't talk about it. Don't talk. Don't bring it up. We moved on.
It's too late. We already on it.
That's great. Let's move on, please. Jokic played really well in that second game, and he dominated in overtime. He ripped Wemby in the half court, which was great to see. He took over overtime.
Because I have to go, I'm gonna say this quickly. I think that I have never seen in recent memory, even the Thunder, the Wolves last year. I don't think I've seen a defense as swarming as OKC's defenses this year. I think they have the best baseline of any team in the league. Like, I think they can activate their best thing more consistently than anyone else in the league, which is what makes them so dangerous. And I think that if they do what they're supposed to do, they could walk through the NBA playoffs this year. They're that good. Now, will they is the question. That's a whole different conversation.
True.
But in terms of, I think they're better than everybody because I don't think anybody can touch their defense. When they go 12 minutes chill of like, no.
I could get with that.
It's over.
Yes, I could get with that.
You know what I mean? They don't have Caruso or Chet out there. And let's say Chet doesn't even come back this year. They're 19-1 with Isaiah Hartenstein. What are we doing?
That's insane, yo.
Lou Dort, crazy.
That one loss was to
who? Oh, the Rockets. They put Lou Dort on Jaylen Brown.
2 losses. Y'all stop playing with my squad.
Tournament final facts. That counts.
They put Lou Dort on Jaylen Brown in the second half. Didn't score a point.
Crazy.
Not one.
We will discuss.
And he had 21 in the first half.
21 in the first half.
Yeah, but we will get to that.
Yeah.
We still got a couple more comments of the week, a few more actually. Swiper. Apparently, Chucky YWB has some things to say about me and you, Swiper. He said, laughing my ass off, Ron in the coat, swiping in the ski mask, laughing emojis, PC moving like some YNs.
Yep. Yes, sir. Right here. It's cold season, baby. It's 6 season, baby. You know what time it is. As soon as I leave the house, chill, masked up.
Look amazing.
But
good work, guys.
Y'all, I still don't know what YNs is. What's a YN?
Young, you know what? Young ninjas.
Oh, okay. Mars, you better get your ski mask too.
Mo is crazy, dog. That's a crazy Mo. Crazy comment.
All right, keeping it pushing. We got another comment from Fab Rice 95. Fab clears, by the way. But Fab Rice 95 said, my PC wishes for 2025 are, number 1, I would like to not get the fear that their argument could at any time become nasty. They might be cool off screen because I think 99% of what every panelist brings to the show, i.e. diversity of race, background, view of the game, etc.
Diversity of race.
Well, yeah, Mars.
Yeah, Penn, formerly he shall not be named, used to be on the show. Yeah, there's got some diversity up here.
Mars, you got white people in your family, so we already know what time that is.
You white, French, you got a little bit of Indian in you.
So
and Jamaican.
We got some diversity.
We don't actually have beef off the show. I'm actually cool with everybody on here. The only person I really don't talk to a lot is Mars, but that's just because I don't use the WhatsApp app, so that's the only reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because,
Ox is
it's
Haitian.
because we despise
Got a
each
lot going
other.
on.
That's really the reason.
No, not personally. I don't hate anyone, respectively. He said I like for to play defense at a consistent level. He said Luka play defense at a consistent level.
I'd like for Luka to be healthy by the end of
Healthy.
the season. That's what I want to see.
That's a fact.
Because that calf strain isn't anything to play with. So hopefully Luka comes back healthy. I just want a healthy postseason. That's really what I want. As healthy as possible. I know it's unrealistic to expect everyone to be fully healthy, but as healthy as possible, particularly from the players who aren't usually healthy. I want to see a healthy Kawhi, a healthy Joel. I want to see a fully healthy Luka in the postseason this year. That's what I want to see. I want to see a fully
we can get to the bottom of some things when we get that, Mars. When we get the help that's necessary, because everybody is banged up in the postseason. But when we can get guys that are at least functional, where we don't have to worry about health as much, like we can get some things figured out.
I agree. That's
Abe Lara doesn't seem to be. I don't have beef with anyone. And again, I talked to Ox before. I've had, if I overstep, I will apologize. I've had to apologize to Ox for in person. That's why I bought him breakfast.
That's why.
Yeah, W orange juice.
An apology breakfast. No,
Ox, he told it to me before, but one more time, Ox. Who is Ray?
Oh, that's my my little cousin. She had a car accident a while back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, at the end of this comment, my man Fab Rice said, because he basically, I'm gonna read the whole thing. He said, I would like for Luka to play defense at a consistent level so I could see that side of Ox, or basically the side of what Ox said. And he put later in his comment, he said, Ox said that he would be a big Luka fan if he was somewhat active on defense.
On a consistent basis. Not, you cook dinner Tuesday and I don't get no dinner from you till next Tuesday. No.
Right. Somewhat active is not a good defender. I said if Luka was turned into a good defender and actually competed and committed to trying on defense, he would probably be one of my favorite players in the NBA.
Ox, they have a scheme that works for them. What's the next one?
There's no scheme that just says don't guard anybody, Luka. I'm tired of that shit, Swiper. Stop saying that. Nobody ever says,
Swiper.
you know what, Luka, don't try.
Swiper, enough already with that. Okay.
I saw versus the Wolves. I saw versus the Wolves. He let Anthony Edwards drive by him.
Anybody anywhere. Anthony Edwards went anywhere he wanted to go. So that's like me saying that's like me being outside. I see somebody trying to break in my house and I just can't stop and be like, well, I'll let you go in the house anyway. Like, no, you didn't.
Well, actually, and the flip side to that, though, Ox, is you actually could do something to stop them from going in the house, but instead you just go.
No, y'all are just casual. Both of you and Ox.
Literally, that's not true.
Who had the best defensive rating?
You call me the equivalent. I'm expecting some crustaceans.
The equivalent of that would be you see someone breaking in your house, but your alarm system's there, so you don't bother to try put yourself in harm's way to stop them.
Oh my God!
That's why Derrick Lively's the alarm system.
No,
Derrick Lively's the alarm system.
The alarm system works when the cops will show up.
You're not gonna get very.
No, wait. So you say Luka's the Chihuahua?
Your wife and kids are in there, Mars.
You ain't got a thing.
Mars, your family's in the house.
Oh
my alarm system protected them. Derrick Lively protected that rim.
No, your alarm system.
Derrick Lively protected the valuables. It was
Mars, that's nasty.
I'm not going to put myself at risk when I know my alarm system.
I'm not putting myself at risk when my wife and kids are in there.
No.
Okay, but they left unharmed.
The alarm's gonna go off and they're gonna call the cops.
Taken away real quick. Taken away.
Wow, that's crazy. Hide in the closet. He'll be all right.
5 games, they were gone.
Hey, and then they got to the finals and they had 5 YNs kicking their doors and windows. Even one of them fools came through the chimney.
The alarm system ain't worked out that time.
It worked just fine, Mars. The alarm system worked fine. Yes, it did. You sounded the alarm.
The alarm was a bit quiet.
No, look, Ox, I agree with you. Remember, I got pushback for that for the whole playoffs.
You might be right about this whole scheme thing. Don't get me wrong. So let me take a step back. You might be right about this whole scheme, right? But it's only the scheme because he's terrible on that end. Like at that point, it's like, okay, Luka, you can't guard anybody. Remember Mars, chill. Remember what I said. They might as well just play 4 on 5.
You're getting us fired, Ox. You told us as a coach. That's
basically what Swipe is saying.
I would genuinely want to see a team try.
But that is basically what Swipe is saying. And you know what I'm saying? He's basically saying if he just lets him go.
He did. That's what he did versus the Celtics, and he did versus the Wolves. But Mars's point, which he was correct, it worked. I just said, I just thought it was interesting. That's all I
That fool,
said.
man, that fool
That's
can't
all I
guard his
said.
refrigerator, man. Y'all crazy.
All I know
That's out the way.
is the Celtics ain't even try to take the alarm down. They ain't try to disable it or
out the
nothing.
way.
They just kicked everything in. They said, "Damn, no, the alarm going off." They pushing people out the way, grabbing whatever they want to. I was disrespectful with the Celtics.
Damn these little poodles, all that.
Yeah, kick the dogs. That's out of pocket.
That's crazy.
Hey, ran in the refrigerator, made a sandwich.
Swiper,
y'all seen
you're
Friday After
disgusting,
Next?
Swiper. You're disgusting, bro.
Well, all right, y'all. We got one more comment of the week. And I would love to read this comment, but Pin got mad at me last week because I didn't let Big Ox read his comment of the week. And it looks like, Big Ox, you are on a streak of 2 weeks. Would you like to read this? You got your glasses? Can you see this?
I'm sure if you want me to do your job, Ron, I'll do your job.
Can you see it clear?
You clearing that for me? Yeah. I'll do your job, Ron. Sure. I'll do it better than you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
It says, this comment is from Big Ox Media. It says, I don't always pick the older players, but I do always pick the older players that were better. I won't accept criticism from 90s and thousands players from 20 years. Oh, I'm sorry. I won't accept criticism of 90s and thousands players from 20-year-olds that became fans of basketball because of Harden, Steph, and Russ.
Fair enough.
That was not a shot at Mars. Please take him off the big screen because Mars knows he's exempt from all of my rants like that.
Yeah, I happen to fit like all the criteria of his rants, but apparently I'm exempt from all of
I
them.
think you guys got some discussing to do here. Let me go ahead and throw this parlay banner up because I think you guys got to. All right, we'll take that.
No, I'm cool. Hey, no, Mars. I don't want no smoke. I'm cool. I'm cool.
No, I mean, I understand your comment. I'm not.
No, I'm just saying like this. It's a lot. Like I think what people say about me and sometimes say the thing about Chill when it's like, oh, you guys always go with older players. I think it's the exact opposite with a lot of these youngsters. I think a lot of these youngsters won't even give the older players a chance. Like when I was talking about that thing with Mitch Richmond, a lot of people like, no, he's this, that. But like Mitch Richmond was a hell of a basketball player. But because he played in the 90s, a lot of these youngsters assume that there's no possible way he can be as good as somebody's playing today. And I just think that's wrong.
I know with a lot of the things I say, like, well, I don't think I favor the newer players as often as I guess maybe people seem to think. I favor a lot of the older players. But I do think when I take the younger players side, like the modern players side, I do end up with like a lot of people who haven't done their due diligence also on my side in terms of like the Giannis and Jokic versus Charles Barkley thing. I've seen a comment on the TikTok of that. Someone said Charles Barkley was Josh Hart with opportunity.
See?
And it's like,
see?
So we're technically on the same side of the argument. We both think Giannis and Jokic are better. But he's saying that nonsense. And it's like, I don't want those type of people on my side, but it's like, we're on the same side, but it's like, we're not on the same side. So it's like,
it's the same thing, Mars, with the Braun stuff. It's the same thing with the Braun stuff.
It's like, I have my opinions of these players because I've gone back and watched them. They have these opinions of these players because they went on Basketball Reference and saw some accolades and maybe watched some highlights. So it's like, we're on the same side, but it's like, I actually had to do research to come to this conclusion. Meanwhile, you don't do anything. That's my problem. But I still do think Giannis and Jokic are better than Charles Barkley. Though.
My only issue with the older logic is that they lump me in with all older heads, and I think like all older heads. So when I big up younger players, it goes by the wayside because I'm an old head, so I can't recognize how awesome SGA is. I can't recognize how awesome Joker is. And when I say stuff, it's almost a double-edged sword. So when I say something about Joker, where I think Joker would have busted Alonzo Mourning ass, okay, you capping for young people. But when I think that Mitch Richmond, when I watch him, who I don't think him and Anthony Edwards are the same, but he reminds me a lot of Mitch Richmond, or you're just an old head. So it's a double-edged sword with me.
I mean, also with that being said, when I will, and I've said it before, and I guess it's a bias or whatever, but if I find two players, like let's say Scottie Pippen and Kawhi, sure. let's say that they're even, let's say they're dead even.
Mm-hmm.
I'm naturally just gonna go with Scottie. I'm naturally gonna go with Scottie. That's just how it works for me. I've seen Scottie first. If I think they're both even, I was a fan of him first, so that's what I'm going with. You know what I'm saying? You know, unless I can figure out Kawhi, if I feel like this person is better than him, I'm gonna say that. Like I don't think I'll be biased about it. But and on top of that, I do feel like that was a better brand of basketball. I enjoyed that basketball better. I lean towards that style of basketball. That's because that's the basketball I grew up on. That's the type of basketball I was taught to play. That's the basketball where I learned how to play basketball. So when I see this style of basketball, like for instance, I was just watching some clips yesterday. I watched a video, and it was it was Tim Duncan rookie season, and I'm like, they just don't build them like this no more. Like nobody's doing what Tim Duncan was doing like that. Like, and people gonna be like, oh, that's garbage. Nobody wants to see mid-range pull-ups and post-ups and stuff. We want to see threes. But that's what y'all like. I don't like that. I like Tim Duncan. You know what I mean? So if y'all
top 10 player the moment he entered the league. Shout out to Tim Duncan.
I mean, I got Tim Duncan number 4 all time. So when he's playing like that, I see that. People want to see other things. I mean, it goes both ways.
Many guys that we can say that. There's not many guys that we could say that when they entered the game, they were a top 10 player in the game when they showed up. There's not many guys we could say that were that.
Right.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I got a bias towards older players if that's what y'all think.
We all have biases, Ox. Like young dudes have a bias toward younger players. And it's always gonna be them against us. And I don't mean you in particular, but especially old heads, it's always gonna be them against us. So when I recognize younger players and I recognize how awesome they are, and I say that I reference this guy because he reminds me of this guy, I'm not saying that he is that guy. I'm saying that he reminds me of that guy. So when I say that SGA, he reminds me of Steve Smith. And I remember Steve Smith, and I remember how awesome Steve Smith is. So imagine Steve Smith with a better handle. Imagine Steve Smith with a better mid-range game. Imagine Steve Smith being able to get to the rim and finish like that and not letting you speed him up or slow him down. That's what he reminds me of when I watch SGA. He reminds me a lot of Steve Smith. That doesn't mean they're the same player. He just reminds me of him. That's all.
Right. But that's the thing, though, Chill. Like when people see that, and you see what SGA is doing right now, and you see how incredible a player he is,
right?
And you compare him to an older player, like a lot of youngsters, they just get upset about that, and it's like don't be mad. Like Steve Smith was a hell of a player, bro. Like
Smith was awesome.
You know what I'm saying? Steve Smith was cold, and I just think people they can't imagine, they can't fathom guys in the 80s and the 90s being good at basketball. I don't understand it. Like, you know, it, like
I was the same way. I was the same way, Ox. You couldn't tell me that Dominique Wilkins wouldn't have bust Elgin Baylor ass. Get Elgin Baylor ass out of here. That's of course until I did my homework on Elgin Baylor. I was like, oh shit, this dude was awesome.
Right, but we like so last week when Jordan, I think Jordan was going back and forth with Mars and Penn. I think it was Mars and Penn, and they were talking about all the threes that had got shot in that game against the Bulls when they played the Hornets. And people you could see the chat just going crazy, like, oh, so you just want to see mid-range pull-ups, or this is not like, what's wrong with a mid-range pull-up? You know, like, oh, you want us to what they say, you want them to drop it on the block and just back him down. Like Tim Duncan wasn't just on the block backing people down. He had footwork. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of dudes that have footwork, but the game has changed. And so I'm going to keep representing the game that I know, while I can still respect to a certain extent what's happening right now. I can't respect 75 missed three balls in the game. I can't respect that. But
that's nuts, Rocks. That is
now
nuts.
imagine if they make 75 threes in the game.
Right. Now if they do that, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, there's a lot of good basketball players in the NBA right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? All of them are good basketball players, obviously, but there's most of them. But there's a lot of good stuff happening, and I like that. But I refuse to sit here and hype shit that I don't like. I refuse to hype regular stuff. I'm not gonna get excited because LaMelo Ball threw a behind the back pass in the wide open court. Like, it's a big deal. They on Twitter calling him a wizard in open court.
He is a wizard in open court.
Man,
it might be levels to wizardry. He might not be whatever. I don't know the Harry Potter levels. He might not be Harry Potter.
Man, Harry Potter was mid as a wizard, to keep it real. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, then
way
Harry
doper
Potter.
wizards than Harry Potter. That
sounds like a 6, like a 5.5 to Harry Potter was.
That fool just got lucky a couple
about
times. Yeah, he got lucky a few times. But nah, I'm just saying,
he was kind of whack, Harry. Sound like he was like
but Harry had heart though. He was a G for real. He had heart.
Yeah, heart cuss.
Yeah, he had heart. But I just want to just wrap it up by saying, like, I respect basketball. I love basketball, and that's just that. I'm not gonna pretend like I think these dudes are better than them just because they shoot a bunch of threes or because y'all think that they've evolved. Like evolution happened in the generation. Now dudes are just can jump all of a sudden, like they couldn't jump or they wasn't fast and all that. Like,
and I'm not one of these dudes that's just relegated to 1987 or 1992. Sure, that was a brand of basketball that I loved, and that brand of basketball was a great brand of basketball, which won a lot. And I always felt like whether we were in 1999 or 2069, I mean, basketball's still basketball. You still got to move the ball. You still got to rebound. You still got to run the floor. Now, it might look a little bit different today because the game is a little bit more wide open. But with that being said, it's still basketball. So that brand of basketball that I grew up on, I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more because it was a different brand of basketball that was effective. Now, that doesn't mean that this brand of basketball isn't effective. And I can recognize it as effective. I just feel like that brand of basketball was more effective.
All right, y'all. We got some super chats that we're going to go ahead and touch into. And then we have a lot to talk about in the last hour and change of this show. We still haven't talked about Kawhi. We're going to get to that soon. We still haven't talked about LeBron passing MJ. We're going to get to that. We haven't talked about Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls jersey retirement. We're going to get to that. We also going to talk about OKC's 15-game win streak, as well as the Cavs making history in their 10-game win streak, too. And then there's some turmoil going on down in Phoenix, and there was a couple other big games this weekend. So we will get to that. I promise you. You guys, click your seatbelts, sit back, be a little patient. We're going to get where you want us to be here very soon. But before we do that, Mind Goblin said, Swiper, if Wemby is top 5, how high is Randall? I would say top 6.
I'd say
At
top
least
4.
7.
I'd say top 4.
Shout out Randall.
we don't gotta take place in the troll. We know that boy ain't no top 6.
Yeah.
Justin said, Amin FC, we up. Average 18 points and 11 rebounds as a starter. Real hoops happens when he starts. Also, shout out to Asor. He's also one of them freak athletes that we don't really mention.
I just really like watch. I think that he's conducive to winning. When I watch him in, he looks like the type of player that if you're trying to win, you need him on the floor. I think, and this might sound a little over the top, but I think a bigger version of Drew Holiday. That's what I'm thinking about. Maybe a better athlete and a bigger version of Drew Holiday. Hands stay busy, turning point guards. When you're picking them up full court, turning them 2-3 times. He's really good in transition. You can throw the ball to the rim for him. He'll actually look at the basket. He's looked at the basket more this season than he did last year. Last year, when he was wide open, he didn't really know what to do. Like, he looks like his game is evolving more as time goes on. He looks more comfortable in the offensive end. On the defensive end, he's not afraid of anybody, and he's not afraid to mix it up with anybody. And don't get me wrong, you know, he can get his ass bust just like anybody else, and he's a young guy who has some moments, but for the most part, I mean, I really like him at the lead guard spot. I do.
Yeah. Hold on. You talking about Amin?
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. That boy need to play. He played 40 minutes last night, and he was the best player on. And Jalen Green had a hell of a game. He was the best player on you guys' team.
Ron, I'm not on the fence about this. Jalen Green is the king of the $1 million move, $10 shot.
Hey, no, chill. He been making them though.
He made him yesterday.
He been
The last couple games he's been solid. It's about stacking games together for Jalen Green. Like,
yes,
when he has a good game, like, there's no point really talking about when he has a good game because like he's clearly talented enough to play well. It's just about stacking them together consistently. That's the problem. But with Amen Thompson, he has to start. Like, he got the start now because Jabari's been out. Jabari's now out, and he was starting before because Dylan Brooks was missing some games.
Yeah.
When Jabari's back, you have to start him. I don't know whose spot he takes. I don't know if it's Jalen Green's spot. I don't know if it's Fred VanVleet. I don't know if it's Jabari. I don't know if it's Dylan.
He wanted him to do
that. It's Jabari for me. Like, Jabari, thank you for your services. I hate that you had to get injured, but your injury exposed that Amin just brings more to the game than you.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think that just makes the most sense. Amin showed last night he can guard fours. He checked LeBron. Amin, it's not too many fours that are just gonna make Amin obsolete on the court. So, and even if that's the case, Dylan Brooks can guard fours too. Like, We'll be all right. What Jabari brings to the table is not even his floor spacing and shot making or whatever it may be. It doesn't stack up to everything that Amen brings. The defensive value, him slashing to the rim, him being a secondary playmaker, or even maybe the best playmaker on you guys' team, or passer, if you will, and just everything else, the athleticism, rebounding. Dude's just a menace.
He's on my defensive team. I think he has to make it this year. First or second team, I don't know. But he's on my defensive team. Like,
has he been? Because I was watching. I know we're gonna get to it, Ron, but I was watching that Oklahoma City Boston game. Is Jalen Williams an all-league defender this year? I think he might be.
He's on my defensive team.
I think he might be an all-league defender this year. Watching him, yeah. I think we can have a conversation about Jalen Williams in terms of wings, and I know it's position. I think it's positionless. I think it's positionless. I'm having a hard time when I think about the guys that are available. I'm having a hard time keeping him off the all-league defensive team. A hard time.
I got both of them. I got Amen and Jalen Williams on my all defensive team. Amen is special. I said it yesterday on my podcast. I think Amen's the best athlete the NBA's had since LeBron. That's what I think. So that's how special I think he is. I'm not saying like that's definitive and people have to agree, but I think he's the best.
It's your opinion. I'm just trying to think through everybody. It's too many guys to think through. I wouldn't be able to get to it.
That kid down in Atlanta, he's a superior athlete. That kid down in Atlanta, Jalen Johnson, he's a fantastic athlete. We talk about bigger guys. I mean, DeAndre Jordan was an incredible athlete at 6'10", 6'11". When you talk,
the only players I considered was Zion and Giannis, if I'm being honest. Everyone else was like
Zion is a fantastic. When we talk about athletes, I mean,
no, he's too wiry. He's not strong enough. He doesn't have the change of pace that Amen has. His top speed isn't as fast as Amen is. De'Aaron's just as fast, but once again, it's the strength thing. I also don't think his deceleration is as good. His second jump isn't as good. Also, the frame, like Amen is a legit 6'7", 225.
Yeah, 230.
Like, so the frame plays a part of it. So yeah, I considered Zion and Giannis. Everyone else is like, I consider Blake. Consider Blake, but like even Blake is like the top speed isn't there. The second jump isn't there. Then it comes down to body control and stuff. Like he might be more explosive, like off the ground as a leaper, but like that's just one facet of athleticism. And you look about when I think about all around athleticism, Amen Thompson is A+ in every single attribute of athleticism, whether that's the typical explosive athletic traits or whether that's the less acknowledged like secondary athletic traits, the athletic traits that make like Shea stand out, for example, like the first step, the change of pace, the deceleration, the agility, all of those attributes. He's also A+. It's like there's no athletic flaw with Amen Thompson. There's nothing that he doesn't do at a top 10 athletic level in the NBA. I don't think there's been many players who you can say that about. LeBron James being one of them.
Well, just running, and a lot of people confuse athlete with just running. I mean, you're a great athlete if you can run. Well, there's a lot of other things that go into being a great athlete. I mean, how strong are you? How fast can you run? How high can you jump? How do you control your body as an athlete? And when I think about great athlete, right, all how quick your feet are, how quick your hands are. So I feel like all of that stuff matters when we're talking about being a great athlete. And when I think about bigger guys, I mean, Giannis was a freak. There's a reason why they call him the Greek freak.
He's a monster athlete. Yeah,
he was a freak of nature. A guy that big who was able to fill out like that and still be able to run that fast, still be able to control his body, still be able to handle a basketball in transition like he does, being able to play defense, just to be able to do the things that Giannis does. Like you said, his deceleration, how fast he's able to run, how strong he is around other strong guys. When I think about Giannis as an athlete, I mean, I'm on record saying it. I think he's a bigger version of Doc when I see him. And Doc could jump from the free throw line. And Doc was a ridiculous athlete. So, I mean, to see Amen Thompson, I mean, when I think about athletes, was he a better athlete than Scottie Pippen? I don't think he was a better athlete than Scottie Pippen. And Scottie was and Amen Thompson, I think, even at this age, I don't think he was a better athlete than Scottie was. And I think Scottie Pippen, I think Amen Thompson is a great athlete. I don't think he was a better athlete than Scottie Pippen was.
I'm not gonna bash Scottie Pippen. I got him in. I'll say that. I got him in. In NBA history, there might be like 6 people I take over Amen Thompson as an athlete, if I'm being honest. So like he's ridiculous.
When he's healthy,
and now that he's starting, maybe he'll get more attention for it. I don't know, but like he's ridiculous. But he's in that upper echelon. He's in that group.
Healthy is Kawhi Leonard a better athlete than him?
No, Kawhi's not even close. Respectfully to Kawhi, he's not even close.
Also, shout out to Russell Westbrook too.
Amazing.
We mentioned all these names.
The most athletic point guard ever, in my opinion, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. And Derrick Rose as well. But we'll get to you, D Rose. But let's go ahead and get to a guy that Chill just mentioned. Kawhi Leonard made his return on Saturday. We didn't know when it was going to happen. We were hoping it would happen sooner than later. And all of a sudden, July 4th, we get the update. Kawhi has been upgraded from doubtful to questionable. And then we got the update an hour before the game that he's in the starting lineup. And, well, Kawhi ended up starting against the Hawks in the Intuit Dome in front of his home Clippers fans, his first time playing in that arena. And they laid the smackdown on the Atlanta Hawks by a score of 131-105. Ox, how'd your man look?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I only got to watch the first half, but
the game was over by that point anyway. So
yeah, from what I saw, I mean, he looked like Kawhi. He was moving real good on defense. You know, it didn't look like he was laboring at all. You know, that first shot he took, you know, just looked like just regular Kawhi. It was just back to business. Another regular day in the office. You know what I'm saying? I'm not surprised. Not surprised at anything I've seen him doing. They're in trouble. Chill. They're in trouble now. He's back. So he's back. I mean, I love what I've seen. Just, you know, just the intensity that he comes out playing with. You know what I'm saying? It's just the presence of Kawhi Leonard on the floor is amazing. So I was happy with what I saw. I mean, did y'all see anything other? Did y'all think that he was laboring at all? Did it look like he was, you know, anything going on? Like, did y'all? I like the way he was moving. Seemed like he was in tip-top shape. As we all know, that's not something that's, you know, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna last, but you can't really fix that knee. So it's just a rest thing. It's just a rest thing. So I hope he gets his rest. I hope they don't push him too hard. You know what I'm saying? I hope he load manages the heck out of that knee and gets as far as he can. Shout out to Kawhi, man. It's this, you know, this was the best day of the year, man.
Facts. I was pleasantly surprised.
Right.
I was pleasantly surprised because his first stint, I was expecting him to play like 4 minutes and like come out. His first stint was like 7 minutes. So I was like, okay, he gave us a 7-minute stint. That's nice. And then in the second quarter, he gave us an 8-minute stint. I was like, oh, okay. So they're giving him extended run, which was nice to see. Just from that standpoint, in terms of like how he looked, he looked like he was in shape. Like it's not like a Joel Embiid situation where he came back and you could see he's barely getting up and down the floor, like injury or not, like he's struggling. Kawhi looks like he's in shape. I think part of that is because he's been ramping up to play for a while now. I think he, like, if it was not the playoffs, but if it was a situation where they needed him, I think he could have came back a few weeks ago. So I think
even before that, Mars.
So I think he's been in shape, and I think it's just been very precautionary, which is good. I think take as much time as you need. So from that standpoint, it looks good. And then in terms of like his impact on the floor and how he looked, the most notable thing is like it's just another person to take pressure off of people. Whether or not he's putting up 27 in the regular season, like a play that stuck out to me was it was early on in like the first quarter. Someone had the ball on the wing. I can't remember. Kawhi flashes to the middle, draws like 2-3 defenders and fires it out to Norman Powell wide open in the corner on the wing, and Norman Powell ends up getting to attack a closeout, get a layup. Like just creating easy opportunities for people with your presence is something that the Clippers have missed outside of James Harden. So having a guy like Kawhi who can do that is great. And then also like defensively, there was a few mental, not lapses, but like he made a few mistakes in terms of switching. He let someone get behind him for like a floater or something. It's like, okay, whatever. But then it's like you still see the defensive instincts, chasing people through dribble handoffs, blowing up plays, getting his hands on in certain situations, just making things difficult. So like Kawhi looked like Kawhi. Like he looked like it was like a throwback to like 2016 Kawhi, where he's not doing a bunch offensively in terms of self-creating and stuff, but like he just makes an impact on the floor. He still plays really strong defense, and he just makes the game easy for everyone. And he was like a +22 in terms of like plus minus or something. So like He looked really good. So that's why
I can shed a tear right now, chill. I'm so happy.
It's nice to see Kawhi back. That's really whatever it is.
The athleticism looks like it's trying to come back. It looks like it's knocking on the door. I'm not sure that it's there yet, but the athleticism, he looks like he's trying to get it back. I saw a lot of rust. I did. I saw a guy who hadn't played in a long time, and he needed to knock the rust off. And if he could get out on the floor and be on the floor for an extended period of time, I could get a better idea. Because I'm not going to say he looked slow. He just looked rusty. That's what he looked like more than anything to me. He just looked rusty. He still was effective, but he just looked rusty. And I'm going off I'm not going off the Kawhi Leonard that was on the floor that we just seen. I'm going off the Kawhi Leonard of old, the Kawhi Leonard who was the most effective, the one who shoots gaps, the one who throws the ball between his legs and knocks down the mid-range, the guy who's beating guys off a one dribble pull-up. I'm going off that guy. And again, the athleticism looked like it's trying to come back, but it's not there yet. His movement off the ball, again, he just looks like a guy that's rusty. And the question is he going to be able to sustain this? And if he's able to sustain this, which he hasn't shown me over the course of these years that he can sustain this, if he's able to sustain this, then I can have a better idea of who he is. But as of right now, he just looked rusty to me.
I know one thing, Chill. If he don't have 21 points tonight, he's gonna be getting called all types of bums tomorrow.
Hey. Yeah, everything I've said, I take it all back if you don't have 21 tonight. Especially if he's the only one who don't hit.
Right. Oh, what?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be right there with Duke Baylock. Promise I will.
Oh, yeah,
in the chat.
for sure, Duke. Hey, Duke, you go ahead and go crazy tomorrow if you don't get 21 today. Shout out to Kawhi though, for real. I'm really happy to see him back on the court.
I don't want a guy.
I think the Clippers have a shot. If Kawhi is there, I think they have a shot. I don't know.
Mars,
win, but I think they have a chance.
That's my thing. It's not even like obviously we seen Kawhi. He looked like he was moving good. He went 3 for 5 from the 3-point line. We know Kawhi still got that banger. His defense was extremely solid. My thing is, when you look at the Clippers, they're tied for 5th in the West right now with the Lakers and the Mavericks. They are 20-15. They're a half a game behind the Nuggets for the 4th seed, and they're at 2.5 games behind the Grizzlies for the 3 seed, and I guess 3 games behind the Rockets for the 2nd seed. So the sky's the limit for this team if Kawhi comes back and just even does that.
Why you keep saying if Kawhi comes back? He's back, Ron.
Okay. Kawhi's back. Even if he's just what he is, gives you a good level of defense and is knocking down that 3 ball. Norman Powell's still doing Norman Powell. He's still Norman Powell. James Harden's still James Harden.
Ron, that's not enough. That's not enough.
No, just hear me out. I'm talking about just floor level Kawhi. This team is already good for 5th in the West. They're on I think the 3-game winning streak.
Something like that.
Oh, no.
They just lost to the Spurs.
Yeah, but this
got
team
blown out by the Spurs, as a matter of fact. They ain't lose to them. They got smoked.
This team is overachieving, or they're doing what they're doing. You add Kawhi Leonard to that, it's like, yo, because they're
which Leonard are we adding to that, though, Ron? Which Leonard are we adding to that?
I'm saying they're the 5th best defense in the league right now without Kawhi. Great defense without Kawhi. Kawhi's only going to make that better. They're the 22nd offense in the NBA. This is where Kawhi is going to help them the most. Kind of just alluding to what Mars said, taking pressure off the other guys. Now he makes it easier for Norman Powell to score. He makes it easier for James Harden to do what he does. He makes it easier for the other guys to get to their spots and do what they do best. But also, you guys have already been doing your thing without me, without Kawhi. Now Kawhi's one of the easier guys just to slot into any team. Kind of a little bit KD-like, where you could just slot him in there, and Kawhi's just going to be Kawhi on the offensive end. He's going to get where he fits in.
Now remember, Ron, last season they were the 4th seed last year. And I don't think that they were nearly as good defensively last year as they are this year. I don't think so. Now you add Kawhi Leonard to that, and I don't think that you're going to get the bucket getter this year that you got last year. I mean, he's missing almost half the season. But before I go any further, and I want to make sure that we preference this, Mars, can you tell us your theory? Because this is great. Mars, tell us your theory on Kawhi Leonard. Please tell us your theory on Kawhi Leonard and what the Clippers were doing and what you think they're doing now.
Oh, yeah. My theory is obviously understanding that Kawhi has this degenerative knee, as it gets called. That Kawhi can't give you 10 months of basketball. His body just won't be able to give you 10 consecutive months of high-level basketball. And I think the Clippers recognize that, and they've tried load managing him. So like they'll rest him in certain games, or they won't play him in back-to-backs, or whatever the case may be. And then they find themselves in the same situation that when they need him the most in the playoffs, he can't hold up. And I think last season they just tried to see, because a lot of people's theory about load management is like it doesn't do anything. But what does help is that if you build a tolerance to playing consistently, that you can actually just make it through because your body has now become used to playing instead of playing and then having downtime, not playing for 2 games and then playing again. I think the Clippers tried that last season and he broke down by March. So I think my theory is Kawhi Leonard can give you 6 months of basketball a year. So he half the year he can play basketball, half the year he can't. I think the Clippers are betting on them getting the 6 months from January to June and then accepting they won't get basketball from July to December. So the 6 months, including the 3 months of the offseason and the first 3 months of the regular season, they won't have Kawhi. That will be him recovering from the 6 months he just gave them. But if they start his ramp-up process in January, they're banking on the fact that they can get Kawhi Leonard in the postseason when they need him the most. And a big part of the benefit of this is them being able to stay in the playoff race without Kawhi. And you give a lot of credit to Norman Powell, James Harden, Zoo, and the defense and Ty Lue for being able to keep them in the race. But I think we've seen Kawhi Leonard able to give you 6 months. Last year, he gave you from October to March. That's a 5-6 month stretch. In previous years, he's given you about 6 months, and then he breaks down in April. If you get the 6 months from January to June, that gets you to the finals. Like, if you play that far, obviously. And if they can get Kawhi for a whole postseason healthy, that's what they're banking on. They don't care about October to December. They don't care about October to early January, as long as they can make the playoffs. And if they have Kawhi for the postseason run, that's what they're hoping they have. And then in the offseason, he'll just be recovering. And then you won't see Kawhi on opening night for next season. You won't see him in November, but you'll probably see him around January again. And that's how they have to play it, I think, with Kawhi.
Even with that, Morris, I still think that those last 2 weeks of March, first week of April, I think Kawhi should be chilling. I don't think he should be playing for that.
That's right before the playoffs, like a couple
right before the playoffs. I think they should go ahead and let Kawhi rest up that knee, because when your knee is like that, you can't rest 3 days, 4 days, and it takes weeks for that swelling, that inflammation to come out your knee. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that last 2 weeks of March, maybe the first week of April, I think he should go ahead.
That April stretch, they probably will they'll probably rest a bunch of guys, but Kawhi obviously being the main concern. But I think he's shown enough that he can give you that high quality stretch. Last year in the regular season, he was an all NBA level player, and I think he made second team.
He made
he was that good. He was extremely efficient. His defense was really good. When Kawhi is available is great. I just think they need it they need it in April, May, and June, and not October, November, and December. And last year they had it in October, November, and December. So I think they're just swapping out the first 3 months for the last 3 months in terms of the timeline of Kawhi. That's my theory.
Makes sense.
And it does. It makes a lot of sense. My counter to that, Mars and I already had this conversation, so we're having it again today. And my counter to that was, Mars, we had seen Kawhi Leonard not 100%. We've seen him healthy as he could possibly be in the playoffs in 2019. He was a lot younger 6-7 years ago. So now what we're doing is we're moving 5-6 years later to this postseason where the injury has mounted and it's gotten worse. Now what's going to happen? The game is a lot different than what it was 6-7 years ago. Teams playing a lot faster. There's more space to cover. And on top of there being more space to cover, the playoffs, the level of intensity, it ramps up even more, which means you're going to need Leonard more. So is he going to be able to hold up? Because I saw him hold up where they basically held him together in the postseason in 2019 with glue and tape, because it was rough. He was having a really difficult time in 2019. Here we are 6 years later, 6 years later, where now this injury has deteriorated and it's gotten worse. What you want to do is you want to slow him down, but by the time we get to the postseason, we want to ramp him up. How long am I going to be able to have him to play at that higher level? Because a lot of people think that just because you sit out, that helps you. In fact, it doesn't. You know, I'm sure you've heard of something called muscle atrophy, where, you know, because you sit in, your muscles have a tendency to not cooperate and not respond. Well, I'm thinking with Leonard, okay, we can't just throw him back in the lineup come April, right? Before Ox is talking about sitting him. Well, then the playoffs start, and we're going to throw him back in the lineup and expect him, who he hasn't really trained, to be there for that stretch. I think it's going to be that's where my counter is, Moss. I think it's going to be rough once we get to the playoffs.
I mean, it's never a guarantee. Like with Kawhi, Joel, it's never a guarantee. Like this is not me saying, "Oh, this is what's going to work and it's going to be 100%."
We tried everything else. Why not?
I just think this
What
is
the hell?
probably this is their last Hail Mary. I guess is like we need Kawhi healthy in the playoffs. Everyone knows the Clippers need Kawhi to have any shot of doing anything. And we tried playing him throughout the whole season so that his body can be acclimatized to playing. That didn't work. We tried load managing him throughout the season, but playing him still throughout the season from start to finish. That didn't work. The only time we had him healthy was when he played the season, didn't play back-to-backs, and then we had a 4-month break. And then we came back and Kawhi was healthy in the playoffs. So I think this is the same concept. It's like we just need to be able to give him a 4-month break. They just started the 4-month break early. But it might not work, and Kawhi might break down still.
Try everything else.
But this is the last chance. And I think it's the most, to me, is the one that makes the most sense in terms of trying to get the most out of him. But it's still not a guarantee. Of course, it's not. It's hard to do. Like he's got degenerative knees. Like this is like asking Brandon Roy to be able to play through a whole season. It's like it's hard. Like when you have what he's got going on, it's going to be damn near impossible. You just got to try and make it work. But I like their chances if Kawhi's there. That's why I say I like their chances.
Yeah, they look very good. The Clippers' next couple games, they will be playing tonight in Minnesota against the Timberwolves. And then on Wednesday, they're going to travel to Denver, play the Nuggets. And then at home on Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday next week, they have the Hornets, the Heat, and the Nets. So those are their next 5 games. We will closely monitor Kawhi and see how he's looking, see how the Clippers are looking. But we're just excited that Kawhi's back.
Fact.
This Minnesota thing ain't working like I thought it would.
It's still early though, Chris. It's still early.
It is.
They suck. They suck.
This thing ain't working like I thought it would. It's not.
But they're a bad team.
All right, y'all. The next thing we're gonna touch on is a GOAT passing a GOAT. LeBron James has officially passed Michael Jordan for the most 30-point regular season games in NBA history.
That's sad, Ron. This is sad.
I thought someone passed Bill Russell in rings.
This Ron, this
is not what happened.
This is despicable that we're even talking about this. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself, and you know better than this. It took this man 600 more games. This ain't even this is so unserious, Ron. Come on.
7 seasons it took in order for him to do it. So, I mean, at this point, again, if you're talking about a guy at this point doing the stuff that he's doing, he broke this record, If you're not on board, there's nothing else that he can do to change your mind. Nothing. Because he's going to keep, as long as he plays, like for him to say that, I think I can play at a high level for 5 or 6 more years. But what exactly is a high level? Because when I think about a high level, I think about being an all-pro. I think about being, and I know you can get voted in. I know you can get voted in as an all-star. But there's different levels. Your high level is different from other people's high level. You being 17-9 and 9 or 17-8 and 8, that's not a high level for you. That's just you sticking around and being able to do that because I'm 42 years old and I can still play because the game is a lot different. But I mean, if you've seen this guy for as long as you've seen this guy, you haven't had your mind made up already. I don't think that there's anything else that can possibly be done to change it. My mind is already made up. So anything he does past this, in my estimation, it's just icing on the cake. That's all it is. I don't think it's anything where I'm going, okay, this is what pushes him over the top. If he ends up winning another ring, if he ends up winning 2 more rings, okay, this is what. No,
and that's fine.
22 years, Ox. He's been in the league.
And that's fine, chill. But we need to stop bringing Jordan into this stuff. Let's just let Bron, just like I said with Anthony Edwards. And obviously, Bron's on a way different level, not even the same atmosphere as Anthony Edwards. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is we just got to start leaving Jordan out of this.
We do, Ox. I to be honest with you, I'm not.
It was Jordan's record, so that's why he's in this.
Yeah, I know that, Mars, but come on.
I know what I was talking about, though. I know what I was talking about.
Come on, man.
It's like every time something happens, he passed Jordan. Every time something happens.
I didn't know the leader in 30-point games. Like It's not something I care about. I don't care who has the most 30-point games in NBA history. If you would have asked me, I would have assumed it was Wilt, if I'm being honest. I would have assumed Wilt had the most 30-point games. So shout out to MJ for having the record. And then shout out to LeBron for breaking it, I guess. But it's not a big deal to me. It's kind of like what Chill said. Like, everyone's already made their mind up on the conversation. Like, either you've got LeBron or you've got MJ or you've got Kareem, or you're like me and you have a brain and you have Bill Russell. Like, it is like everyone has who they have. It's like everything LeBron does at this point isn't gonna do anything like for his standing in that conversation. Like, the people who have LeBron as the GOAT are gonna be like, oh, see, this is even more proof. It's like, sure, I guess, but like, you thought he was the GOAT before he had this record. So like, what difference does it make? But shout out to him for doing it. Like, what was it, 560 something? 563?
But yeah, 563. Obviously, with the last game, he passed Jordan. So shout out to him. I'm actually, hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna put the whole top 10 on the screen here in a second. But before I do that, I also do want to acknowledge that Jordan wasn't the only person that LeBron passed this weekend and made NBA history. He also passed Dirk Nowitzki in total minutes played, or no, total games played. I'm sorry. Last a couple weeks ago, he passed Kareem for total minutes played. He just passed Dirk for total amount of games played. He's 4th on that list, and he needs 89 to be number 1 on that list.
What is it? Regular? This is just regular season games, right?
I'm not sure if it's regular season games. It might be all-time games.
Because I'd like to think LeBron has already played the most games. Period.
Yes, he did.
I'm pretty sure it's regular season.
Yeah, I'd assume it's just regular season. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he's probably going. Yeah, he's not retiring this year, I don't think. So he'll probably break the record for most games played. I think he's played the most minutes ever.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, he's gonna be all these longevity things. Like, he's gonna be at the top of the list for. And I don't like that some people seem to think that somehow LeBron playing more is hurting him.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's weird to me. Like, and they're like, oh well, if he won 4 in 16 years instead of 4 in 23, it's like at some point we have to understand like that there's more to the game than just ultimately how many championships you win. Like, there is more to it than that. Like, you're still contributing at an extremely high level. You're still an extremely valuable player. All of those things matter, and he's 40 years old, and he's still one of the better players in the NBA.
We wasn't talking about Jabbar like this, Mars. I'm letting you know that right now. In 1988, when Jabbar was 1987, when Jabbar was 40 years old, we were not talking about Jabbar like this. We weren't. That was not going on.
And I also want to be clear, Chill, that I don't think playing longer longevity. I don't think that's a negative at all. I'm just talking about in the specifically in this standard when we're talking about how many games it took him to pass Jordan's record. I just think that, you know, like if I scored 562 games, I scored 30 points, and I did it in 500 less games than you, then, you know.
I agree. Total high scoring games versus like actual like points per game. Like, I think
but I also think being able to continue to play at this age, at this level, is far from a negative. It's crazy to think that anybody could take this as a negative, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is amazing. And I think
just wanting to do it, Ox. Not even physically able to do it, just wanting to do it. Like, think about doing a job for as long as you've done it, and you get to this age, okay, I still want to do it.
Right.
And still be awesome.
Brian the Hooper.
Shout out to KD about to hit 400.
Yeah, for sure. KD
hit tonight, because I got over 29 and a half. He hitting that tonight for sure.
Does he catch Kobe? KD?
Can he get 32?
Or no, can he get to number 4?
What is it that he's at? 435?
Carmelo, yeah, 435.
KD got
he would need 36 more.
KD's got like 40 more. He's not gonna get to 3, but he can get to 4 for sure. I'm very surprised Will didn't have this record. I know he slowed down towards the end, but when you're averaging 44 and 50 and 37, it's like that's like 3 times 82 right there. So like, I thought he had it. So.
How many scoring titles does Jordan got?
10.
That just lets y'all know, like, this right here alone.
Come on, man.
It just lets y'all know, like, for those who don't know, Jordan was
when
that.
When it comes to scoring, it's kind of different with MJ. Like,
10 was 30 a game for 10 years.
In the playoffs, I think he's only averaged. But in the playoffs, I think he's only averaged below 30 once. Like, MJ when it comes to scoring, it's kind of different.
Oh,
and like, when you look at like 50-point games, I know Wilt is number 1 in 50-point games, obviously.
Right.
But like, MJ's number 2, Kobe's number 3, LeBron is like tied with like Dame or something. So the high volume is like where I guess MJ kind of stands out. But yeah, MJ when it comes to scoring, he kind of something different with it.
To give you an idea, Ron,
maybe
Jordan has 31 50-point games. Wilt have 45 in one season.
Shout out to Wilt, man. Shout out to Wilt.
I'm gonna say that because Ron looked a little confused. One more time, Ron. Jordan, over the course of his 15-year career, he's got 31 50-point games. Wilt scored 45. Wilt scored 50 45 times in one season. I just want to put that on your mind.
That's insane.
And he apparently scored 100 at one time.
That's crazy. But all right, y'all. Shout out to LeBron. Shout out to everybody that's top 10 in 30-point games in NBA history. A couple guys we didn't mention: Karl Malone, Kareem, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, and Dominique Wilkins at number 10. So salute to all of those guys.
I wonder where James Harden is on that list.
You should be creeping.
Who cares?
I think James Harden has 77 30-point games, something like that. No, that's not true.
Nah, no.
He averaged 36, so I know that.
That's not true. He's got 77 something. I'm sorry. Maybe it's not 30-point games.
Yeah, maybe Harden is 13th, someone said. Okay.
Right.
I don't know how close he is to 10, but I don't know if he's going to get there.
All right, y'all. Moving along. There was some good news this weekend. First off, it was Derrick Rose night in Chicago on Saturday. The Bulls played the Knicks. And in the midst of this, it was a lot of love shown to Derrick Rose. But in the midst of this, the Bulls announced that Derrick Rose's jersey will be retired in 2025, sometime next season. And we all know what Derrick Rose was to the city of Chicago, Chicago's very own. We also do know that he was drafted to Chicago with the number 1 overall pick. And then we also do know that he played 8 seasons for the Bulls, and he was the youngest MVP in history in 2011 in a Bulls uniform. We also do know that he won Rookie of the Year for the Chicago Bulls. But now we also know that his name will be up there with the Bulls legends, and nobody will ever be able to wear number 1 again in Bulls history.
I'm wondering why they decided to retire his jersey next season. Why did they have a ceremony for him now, and then we're gonna retire his jersey next year? I don't understand what's going on there. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, Derrick Rose is one of the biggest what ifs. If he could have held up, like what could he have been if we were able to get 10 years of health from Derrick Rose? What kind of point guard could he have been? What kind of player could he have been? Could he have been one of the all-time great, not one of the all-time great league guards, one of the all-time great players? No, there weren't many guys who could get downhill as great as Derrick Rose. There weren't many guys who could score at the rim as well as Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose became a better passer as time went on. Derrick Rose was really slight in terms of how he spoke, but Derrick Rose was really smart as a basketball player. So athletically, he was superior to a lot of other guys. So what if he could have held up and given us 7 to 10 years of health? Could Derrick Rose, could he have given us more league MVPs? Because that, just so you know, Ron, when you win in the NBA championship, there's a lot of stuff that needs to go your way. So that Miami Heat team that won the NBA championship in 2012, when Derrick Rose gets hurt, well, I don't got to worry about him and Jimmy Butler and all of those guys anymore. That's somebody that I don't have to worry about as much as I would have had to worry about them if they were there. So a guy like Derrick Rose, if he was healthy, could he have given me more MVP seasons? Well, he was the youngest MVP in NBA history at 22. What outside of injury, what reason for me to believe that he couldn't continue playing at that level? Outside of injury, he could have continued to play at that level. And how much better could he have been than his counterparts? So Derrick Rose will always go down as one of the biggest what ifs in NBA history.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Rose was amazing. And this is all about praising Derrick Rose and everything, but you keep bringing up that MVP that he stole from Amari. But anyways, though, you gotta love Derrick Rose when you watch him play. I'm talking about from college, you know what I'm saying, to the NBA. I mean, Derrick Rose was amazing. He was, and y'all know how I feel about Rajon Rondo. Derrick Rose was the only person in those times, 2011, 10, all those times. He was the only person that I was like, yo, I don't know if Rajon got nothing for him. Like, there was those when they was battling, like, man, I'm with you on that shit. I just really wish D Rose would have stayed healthy for a little longer, man. I really do. I think I think we missed out on some really good basketball. And then like how emotional that was when he dropped 52 or what was it
50
at the Timberwolves 50 like
50.
that was just amazing, man. Like D Rose was a hell of a player, man. And
Yes, he was.
I wish we could have got some more of him healthy because he stayed in the league for a while, you know, and he still was
10
there,
more
but
years after he tore his knee up. He played 10 more years.
He wasn't the same, obviously, but
he was still good though. He still found ways to be impactful, which is gets like swept under the rug. Like it's not like he just fell off. Well, he fell off from what he was, but he was still a really good NBA player, really good point guard. His first playoff game, like of his career, was against the Celtics. He had like 40 and 10 or something. Like he came in, it was electric from day one. Definitely deserves his jersey getting retired. There's a lot of people who are like acting as if he doesn't. I think that's disgusting. He very clearly deserves his jersey retired, in my opinion. In terms of everything he meant to Chicago, in terms of how good he was, even if it was for a short time. Guy won an MVP for your franchise. Like he won an MVP while playing for your franchise. That's a jersey retirement right there. That's worth that right there. Not to mention he's from Chicago. Everything he brings to the city, how much people love him in Chicago. It makes sense. And then in terms of how good he was, I mean, like he was one of the best point guards in the league at that point. I think it's only reasonable to assume that alongside his natural progression as a player and alongside like just how good he already was, he would have been one of the best point guards in the league for a decade. Like, would he still be one of the best now? I don't know, but he's like 36. But would he have been like up until like 2020? Like, would it have been Derrick Rose as one of the best point guards in the league for sure, in my opinion?
Well, think about it, Mars. If you think about the era of point guard during that time, right? So Derrick Rose wins that league MVP in 2011. Okay, so from 2011, let's just say 18. So we got, because somebody's now, if Derrick Rose stays healthy, one of these guys may have to come out. So you got Russ, you got Irv, I mean, you got Russ, you got Curry, you got John Wall, you got Rondo, Chris Paul, you got Damian Lillard. If Derrick Rose stays healthy, somebody got to come out. One of them three one of those 6 or 7 guys has to come out.
I know it ain't Russ.
I don't think so neither, Ron. Nope, I don't think so neither. But with that being said, I don't think that people understand the impact mentally what injury does with an athlete. I don't know if you guys know this, but elite athletes, this is how thin the line is between elite and garbage, and it's upstairs. And when I say it's upstairs, your superpowers are your body. How fast I can run, how strong I am, how fast I can run, how strong I am, everything that I can do physically. When Derrick Rose tears up his knee, that's a superpower of his that now has been taken away from him mentally. Can I run as fast as I used to? Can I jump as high as I used to? And now that starts to affect him. Then we watch him when he plays with the Knicks and he cracks his knee again and he breaks his hand. It was like watching a superhero lose his superpowers slowly. It was incredible, but in a bad way, like, oh shit, this is really going on. I really wish I could have seen Derrick Rose from 2011, just to maybe 2017 or 18 with good health, where I could have matched him up with the rest of those lead guards in the game and saw how he fared.
Yeah, it's unfortunate how everything unfolded, but even the time you did get from like his rookie year till year 4, because he tore his ACL in 2012. So year 4, just that time, like you could see, like he was like that. Like he was you couldn't stay in front of him. He could get wherever he wanted on the floor. He had a great floater he could get to. The jump shot was coming along, which is definitely something that he didn't really have early on, but it was coming along, especially from mid-range. And I think sometimes I don't say listen to the players in terms of like, I don't think players are always right about how good someone is. But when players constantly tell you they were terrified of going against Derrick Rose, that holds weight. Like, that doesn't mean Derrick Rose is better than like Steph Curry, for example. But like, if the people who played against him tell you they were terrified to play against him, that holds some weight. Like, we can't diminish their experiences of going against that guy. So I think that's what I'm saying. We can't diminish their experiences of going against him.
You could be awesome and not want nothing to do with somebody else. That could happen. 100%.
So with that, it's like he was.
Chill. It could be the opposite too. Like you could think somebody could be awesome, but everybody could be like, but I'm not scared to play him. Yeah, he cool,
right.
But I don't got no problems with him.
Right. But there's plenty of guys in the league, Ron, that on the surface they're awesome, but in here they like, what can I do to avoid that? What can I do to not have to deal with that? Last year's a prime example of that. Like when Denver got bounced, the rest of the league, the rest of the Western Conference was like, "Word, them dudes is gone. Okay, great. We good now. Okay, we got a chance." Because none of them dudes really wanted, as good as Minnesota was, you think they really wanted to see Denver? As good as Dallas was, you think they really wanted to see Joker? We'd rather not. But all right, we got to deal with this dude. And there's plenty of guys who, as good as Russ was, as good as Kyrie Irving, as good as Steph Curry, as good as all of those guys were, I love the competition, but like that dude right there, yikes. Do I really want to deal with him? Derrick Rose looked like when he was healthy, guys were losing sleep. Like when I go to Chicago, like I'm not going to hang out. I'm getting something to eat. I'm getting to bed early because I know I got to deal with this guy. I know that for a fact.
When you watch D Rose too, he just had like a natural. He had that instinct. He had a natural instinct just playing basketball. You know what I mean? That and when you're watching guys play, you can see that type of thing. And D Rose had what they call it. D Rose had it. You know what I'm saying? It was just that natural instinct, knowing how to put the ball in the basket, even being going into the lane with the trees. You know what I'm saying? He was super explosive, knew how to move the ball around. They kept showing that one clip where he was going full court and he bumped D Wade. And y'all know D Wade was so strong, so it's not like D Wade just like got pushed out, but he bumped D Wade to go get that contact. And Bron running behind and tried to come clean it up on this side. He puts the ball up and he's not even looking at Bron. He don't see Bron, but he can feel Bron, He come back under this side. Bron tries to reach for it. He just gets it right over there. Like D Rose had that. He was doing that all the time. Like that wasn't like that clip was amazing, and we're gonna keep seeing it because it was D Wade and Bron together. But he did that so regularly, just things like that. And when he was in college, he was doing stuff like that. Like man, D Rose.
And to your point, Ox. I mean, I'm sorry. To Mars's point, I mean, Derrick Rose played 8 seasons for the Bulls. So he played 8 seasons for the Bulls. Like to have a guy play 8 years for your organization, but I think he made the All-Star team 2 or 3 times.
3 times, I think.
3 times, won the league MVP. How many organizations are not hanging that jersey up in the rafters?
Stolen MVP, the Robin MVP.
Oh, let's just say for the sake of argument,
and rookie of the year, chill.
And rookie of the year, won the league MVP, made the All-Star team 3 times. How many organizations are not hanging that guy's jersey up? How many? There aren't many that aren't doing that. And I'm confident.
Yeah, maybe it's like Boston and LA, maybe because like they have so many jerseys. But even then, it's like you win an MVP, it's like you probably got to retire the jersey.
How don't you?
You probably have to.
And to take it a step further, and I stand on this because a lot of people ask me, is Derrick Rose a Hall of Famer? If Derrick Rose does not make the Hall of Fame, he'll be the only league MVP and NCAA finalist not in the Hall of Fame. He'll be the only one. Every other player that's won the league MVP and that's been in the NCAA championship, whether win or lose, been in the NCAA championship, is in the Hall of Fame. Derrick Rose will be the only one if he's not in the Hall of Fame.
He'll get it.
He'd be the only MVP anyway. Like, there's no MVP who's not in the Hall of Fame, right?
None, 0.
Yeah, like, just off that alone,
it'll take a little time though. I don't think he's like first ballot, but he'll get in there. He'll get in there eventually. He won't get in there before Al Horford, but he'll get in there.
Well, shout out to Derrick Rose. Shout out to Chicago. You guys finally did something right over there. Hopefully, you guys can continue to do something right. But let's not talk about the bottom tier teams. Let's talk about the 2 best teams in the NBA. And we are going to start with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are currently on a 15-game win streak, and they had 2 amazing wins this weekend. They played the Knicks on Friday, and the Knicks was coming into the game with a 9-game winning streak. Well, the Thunder beat the Knicks by a score of 117-107 and snapped the New York Knicks 9-game winning streak, and SGA had 33 points and 7 assists. Then on Sunday, the Thunder extended their 14-game winning streak to a 15-game winning streak by beating the Boston Celtics in a clash of the Titans, 2 of the best teams in the NBA. We obviously know the Boston Celtics are the reigning champions, and we know Oklahoma City is just Oklahoma City. Jason Tatum had 26 points and 10 rebounds, but it wasn't enough to top what SGA just completely brings to the table. SGA had 33 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and obviously some clutch buckets. And now OKC is 30-5, and Boston is 26-10. Fellas, talk to me about how we're feeling about not just OKC, but particularly these 2 games as well.
Did you see that block from Shea on Tatum?
That was impressive. Yes, that was definitely impressive.
Tough.
I was surprised by the Knicks win. I did not expect them to get that W.
Well, first of all,
quarters.
Ox, you
It was 2
being
quarters.
being a coach, Ox. One thing I found out about Tibbs, that leash is short.
Real short.
If okay, no, I know McBride didn't play, but with Campaign, Precious Achua, I feel like I'm forgetting. I feel like he only played he only played 6 guys. That was it. If you get on the floor with Tibbs, you better do something as a rotation player, and you better do it quick, especially in a big game like this. Because if you don't, you are getting the hook, and he's sticking with his guys. Just so you guys know, that Knick game, 5 of his 5 starters, they all played 40 minutes or more. 5 of his starters played 40 minutes or more. That means that they ain't coming off the floor. That means that hook is quick with you when you in the rotation. If you get on the floor, you better do something, and you better do it quick. Otherwise, you will be sitting over here with him for the rest of the night. Now, as far as the Celtics playing them, we just got finished talking about the box score. Just so you guys know, when Mars is an advocate of this, don't let the box score fool you. So the box score with Jaylen Brown, it was actually worse than that in the game. The 21 he had, and the 0 points, the 0 rebounds, and the 0 assists in the second half, it was worse than that during the game. He couldn't get anything going. They stayed in front of him. A team like Oklahoma City is a nightmare for a guy like Jaylen Brown. Why? One, his ability to handle the ball. Oklahoma City is one of the smartest defensive teams that I've ever seen. They don't make a lot of mistakes on defense. They don't. And a guy like Jaylen Brown, who's got that weak handle, particularly with that weak hand, they force him into situations where he makes a lot of mistakes. And when you make mistakes against Oklahoma City, particularly on the perimeter, they're going to capitalize on them. And they did that. Keep the game close, and at some point, we're going to blow this thing open. And I think that's
shit. They'll never box Jalen up like that again. That's a no.
I don't know why.
I mean, you can.
I mean, to that extent.
To that extent, yeah. But the formula is there. It's not just for Jaylen Brown. The formula is there. It's just like not many teams have the personnel that OKC have. Like their ability to hound people and then help, but also be able to recover and get out to shooters is something that not many teams can do. So like it's like people like acting as if like this is not an indictment on Boston as a whole. Like their ability against the rest of the league is still going to be just as potent because teams can't do what OKC did to them, especially in that second half last night. I think they scored 27 in the whole second half. Some of that was just down. Some of that was down to like they missed some shots that they can make. Some of it, but a large portion of it is simply down to OKC's defense. Just them being able to extend their defense way beyond the 3-point line and just make every Boston catch instead of happening at the 3-point line, it's now 6 feet further out. So the amount of possessions in which Boston didn't even break the 3-point line was staggering. That's not Boston. Boston usually the way they generate their shots is they break the 3-point line, they collapse defenses, they kick out, they find shooters. They couldn't get beyond the 3-point line because they're extending everything so far out and they're able to hound ball handlers. And Jaylen Brown is already not the best of ball handlers. Derrick White's not the best of ball handlers. Jason Tatum is a solid ball handler, but even he struggles against immense ball pressure, and he doesn't have that elite first step to just get by guys consistently. And that's what OKC banked on. They knew that Boston didn't have a ball handler to the degree that could just break that pressure. And Joe Mazzulla alluded to it, like, everything he says, it's all about the spacing. Can we get to our spacing? OKC are just pushing everyone away from where they want to be. They're pushing everyone out 2 or 3 feet away from where they should be. And that's affecting Boston spacing. And it's funny, like, we talk about, like, how much more efficient and how much better the league is today. And, like, Boston is, like, the pinnacle of that, the 5-out, all the shooting, the spacing, all of that. The moment their spacing isn't good, they can't score the basketball. So it's like, how do you judge a team like Boston and you compare it to teams of, like, yesteryear? It's like, teams back in the day, they had like 2 shooters. Maybe. If you were lucky, they had 2 shooters.
Well, that's what I was
And you
about
were
to ask.
expecting
Mars.
these superstars to score. We look at Boston, they have all this spacing. The one time their spacing isn't great, Jaylen Brown can't score, Jason Tatum struggling to score. It's like, this is why efficiency can't be the end all be all. It's like, the situations are very different. Very,
Well, that's
very
what I was about
different
to
in terms
ask.
of what they have.
What generates space? Because like when I hear Coach Mazzulla say, we didn't have a lot of spacing. Okay, well, we were running the same offense in the first quarter and in the second quarter that we ran in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter. What generates space? Well, what generates space is being able to make shots. Okay, when you make shots, that means guys have to crowd you a lot more, right? And that means that you can get around those guys. Well, the fact that they weren't making shots, I don't think that deters you from being able to get around a guy. They weren't able to get around these guys. So when you got a team that's not making shots, and you got a team that can't get downhill, like what was going on with Boston, the spacing I don't think is the issue. You guys couldn't really get any offense generated. You guys were definitely wide enough where guys couldn't recover. I just feel like the one-on-one stuff, like with Jaylen Brown and Jalen Williams, I thought Jalen Williams boxed him up. I thought he sat on that left hand. I thought he sat on that right hand and made him dribble with that left hand and kept his hands busy and threw his rhythm off. And now what Jaylen Brown is trying to do is he's trying to put his head down and he's trying to bully Jalen Williams to the rim. Jalen Williams 6'7", so I'm as big as you. So you're not just going to be able to run me over. So now I don't think that's a spacing issue more than that's just you trying to win your assignment and you trying to win that matchup and you can't do it.
Mars, let me ask you again. Do the Thunder need Chet?
Yes, they need Chet.
Yeah, they do.
And it's not.
I'm not.
And it's weird because with Chet, they were like, I still think statistically they might be the best defense ever, like in terms of relative to era, all of that stuff. But I don't think defense is the biggest reason why they need Chet, which is ironic because he is their best defender. Defensively, I still think they can hang with anyone, like in the playoffs with or without Chet. Now you get a little bit more flexibility with Chet, but the biggest difference to me, and like last night, Boston played really good defense. Boston were really good defensively last night. KC's offense is where I think they're going to need Chet even more than they do on defense. Just the floor spacing that he provides, the flexibility, the 7-1 guy who can put the ball on the floor, can handle pick and rolls. Like you get an extra dimension offensively. That's where I think they're going to need Chet come postseason time because right now their offense craters without Shea. Like it just does. Like they don't have enough advantage creation outside of Shea, and teams are trying to plug Shea's driving lanes. They're trying to make life as difficult as possible. They're trying to force shooters to beat him, and sometimes they can, sometimes they can't.
Yeah,
they don't have many guys. They don't have many guys who can like consistently do that. Like Lou Dort last night was like really bad offensively until like the last 3 minutes of the game, and he just
that was it, Mars. He didn't get him anything until he cracked them threes. That was it.
And it's like that's who they're relying on. They're relying on those guys to make shots, but whereas like they don't have guys who can put the ball on the grounds, can make second side attacks, can attack a slanted defense. They don't have that. But when you have Chet in the mix, that's what you have. So while defensively,
but J-Dub didn't have too good of a game.
J-Dub is that second side attacker, but he's not an advantage creator. That's why when Shea's out there and when J-Dub's out there and Shea isn't, their offense still falls off a cliff because J-Dub just can't create offense like Shea can. And I'm not expecting him to. Shea is one of the 5 best players in the league, but they need someone else who can just help you generate good offense. And I think that's what Chet provides alongside being obviously their best defender. So that's what I think they need. They need more offense come postseason time. Defensively, that defense is going to travel. I see no way in which this defense doesn't travel. They have like 7 elite defenders on their roster, maybe 8. Like it's ridiculous.
Have you ever heard of like a loud 25 or a loud 15? Like when you see a guy and like with Chet, his buckets, not Chet, I'm sorry, with SGA, his buckets are loud. The stuff that he does, it's just loud. It's not thunderous like dunks, but it's loud. So when I watch him and I watch Jason Tatum, there are things that Jason Tatum does on the offensive side of the basketball that I feel like are a little bit better, like in terms of his shot creation and getting other guys involved and creating other shots for guys. I feel like that's better. I think the separator with me, with these two guys, SGA is not going to bail you out with a bad shot. He is not going to do that. He is going to get to where he needs to get to on the floor, and he's going to get a good shot more times than not. Jason Tatum is going to bail you out with a bad shot, and that bad shot is going to turn into some good offense for the other team, whether it's a step back three, whether it's trying to draw foul, as opposed to just getting to a spot. SGA seems like as a scorer, he's not looking at the defender more than, okay, the 14-foot line, I got to get there. The elbow, I have to get there. I can get by this guy with my weak hand, and I'm going to keep it with my weak hand, and this is the spot I'm going to get to. He doesn't seem like you're going to keep him away from the basket, or you're gonna force him into a bad shot. You can force him into a tough shot, but you're not gonna force him into a bad shot. Those two things are not the same thing. And I feel like the separator between him and Jason Tatum in that aspect, I think Jason Tatum will bail you out a lot of times with a bad shot, and SGA won't.
Who's better offensively between JT and Shea?
I think Jason Tatum is, because I feel like he does a lot more as not just a shot creator, but advantages on offense, getting other guys involved in the game. That's where I think he excels. I think he can score. I don't think that, again, to my point, I think Jason Tatum is going to bail you out with a bad shot, but I feel like the other stuff he does, I feel like he does that stuff better than SGA.
Chill, I'm sorry. It's time for you got to come off that. Like SGA, he's just better. And I don't think he's just better. I think it's a little gap in there too.
Offensively, yeah, I think that, like, this is, like I said, this is the OKC offense that can't function without him. Like they can't. Like, their offense is bad when he's not on the floor, and they're one of the best offenses in the league when he's out there. And then just away from that, like, a lot of Jason Tatum's shot creation is like, it comes down to the spacing he has. A lot of it comes down to the fact that when you do put two on the ball with Jason Tatum, like, you're leaving an elite shooter open, and they have so much space, it makes the passing angle so much wider, and it makes it so much easier for him to make those reads. And he does make those reads, and you give him credit for it, and he moves the ball well. But, like, teams are actively shrinking the floor on Shea, and he's still he's creating offense for himself and others at a clip that's extremely efficient while having way less space to do it with. And it's like, he's the more efficient scorer. I think he turns the ball over less. I don't know though. I think he does.
He also controls it more too. So it's kind of like
he has the ball way more. He's the better scorer. I think he's very clearly like the better ball handler. He's the best driver in the NBA. And then he might not be as good of a passer as Jason Tatum, because Jason Tatum is a good passer, and Shea is still kind of reactionary. But, like, when you have the ability that Shea has to break down Jason Tatum doesn't break down defenses like Shea does.
Right.
He doesn't even try to. That's my thing with JT. He doesn't even.
Well, some of it is
he does. That's not true, Ron. He'll get to the rim. He will. That's just not true, Ron.
I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not saying
he'll get to the rim. He just doesn't have that fluidity that Shea has. He can't get as low as Shea can. His first step isn't as fast as Shea's is. So often, if you see him on a drive, if you cut him off, those drives turn into post-ups, which is like, that's cool. That's valuable that he can still back down a defender and get to a shot. Yep. But it's like with Shea, it's like you can't stay in front of his first step. So those drives are getting him all the way to the rim, and he's collapsing defenses. And now teams are playing in those gaps, and like they're shrinking off the strong side corner or strong side wing. And he's still able to get to where he wants on the floor. And he's not just making basic kick out reads. He's drawing defenders and creating wide open shots for people. And there's a reason why their offense is that good. Like with him on the floor, they have a 121 offensive rating. That's like one of the best in the league. And then without him, it's like they're a bad offense. And it's because like he's creating damn near all their advantages. Whereas I don't think that's the case with Jason Tatum. And I also just think the floor with Jason Tatum is so much lower than Shea. The floor with Shea is like he's gonna score and it might take him a few more shots to do it. With Jason Tatum, it's like he just might not make a jump shot today. Like that's the floor with Jason Tatum. It's like he's gonna shoot 12 jumpers. He might not make it.
And that's what I mean with Jason Tatum and SGA. Sure, and on top of that, he's gonna take bad shots. But the flip side to that, I feel like when he gets in the post, how much more effective he is than a lot of other guys, not just at his position, but a lot of other guys. Well,
he posts up. It's not a bunch, but he does post up. He's actually pretty good in the post this year.
Last season, that's my problem with JT. I promise you, I would have nothing bad to say about JT if he A, drove more, and B, got in the post more. But I don't know.
Well, last season he played double in the post the year before. This season he's playing just as much in the post. I want to see him play in the middle a little bit more because I've seen him play in the middle.
That's what I'm talking about.
And he's actually really good. And he's really good around the rim and getting to his weak hand. When he gets to his weak hand and he gets to the rim, I mean he'll dunk the ball. The thing that I don't like about him is just the idea that he'll bail you out with a bad shot, and SGA won't do that. However, However, he does hit timely shots. He does hit big shots. I think he's a better catch and shoot long ball shooter than SGA. I think when I think about SGA at the rim, I think SGA is a great finisher. I also think Jason Tatum is a great finisher at the rim. I think he's better in the post. Now, I will give SGA the credit that's deserved with him being able to be as shifty as he is, consistently keeping the defense on their heels. Jason Tatum doesn't do that nearly as much as SGA. That part I won't argue. But when we're talking about offensively, I just think that the other stuff that Jason Tatum does, I really like it.
I hear you with that, Chill. I think I definitely agree with you on that. But there's something on the offensive end that SGA has that Tatum does not. And like when he's just probing the defense, moving around, so it looks different. So it is hard. It is hard to compare. He got that. He's jerky. He's harder to stay in front of. You know, it's just it looks different. They play different styles. So like I said, it is hard to compare.
You can't teach that neither, Ox. That's not something that you can teach. You to have.
Yeah, that's athleticism. He's just like.
Well, I don't know. I kind of disagree. I think you can learn how to slow your pace down. You know, because slow is quick. You know, when you got that ball and you're moving around like that, slowing down and just like a lot of guys they'll a guy like maybe like a Ja or a De'Aaron or somebody like that. They'll more so try to just use their speed and athleticism, try to get around you, get over you. A guy like SGA, he got a little bit. It doesn't look like Kyrie, but he got a little bit of that where I can manipulate you. I can slow down. I can speed up. I can manipulate the way you're trying to guard me. And he's big too. He's not a little guard. So his ability to shoot over the top of dudes that are bigger than him. You know what I mean? SGA he got a different touch. He got something else. He got something else that Tatum doesn't have. I think it's just pace. It's patience. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you're not going to force him to do something he doesn't want to do. So I think I gotta get over to this side as where offensively I thought it was JT, and I'm still not saying I think SGA is better than JT. I'm still not saying that, but it's SGA got something different going on. I don't know. I don't even know what it is. I think he's better than Jason Tatum on that offensive end, and it might be a mindset thing. So you already know my problem with JT has always been that he gets kind of shook up. You know what I'm saying?
The dollar signs. I don't see the dollar signs as much as I used to, Ox.
I don't. But he's still. I think he's still not the same killer that SGA is. Exactly. He's not. He's far from as assertive as SGA is, but SGA isn't out there struggling like. He's just playing ball. You know what I'm saying? He just knows he's a killer. He knows he can get where he wants to go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he got that. He got that. He thinks it. I think he's thinking the game better than Jason Tatum is.
Before we move on, I do just want to highlight. I just hate how many threes Boston shoots still. Here's the thing. It's not necessarily. This isn't the whole 3-point thing. Thing about it is, and Mars, you've kind of swayed me a little bit with the numbers. Teams like the Bulls, the Hornets, and those teams get up a bunch of threes because if you get hot, you'll beat that team. I don't think the Celtics have to do that. Now, I understand you got Drew Holiday, Derrick White, Porzingis, and everybody else that actually can shoot. Like, they are a very good shooting team. Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Al Horford. You guys have a collection of gunners.
It's despicable.
But you also have a collection of guys. So see, Chill, I agree. I disagree with you. I think they could have got to the rim on OKC. If they wanted to, Jaylen Brown was doing it in the first half. If Jason Tatum wanted to get to the rim, he could have got to the rim. Drew Holiday and Derrick White can get to the rim. Al Horford and Porzingis, they have mismatches in the post. Like, iHeart might be a good defender down there, but they have mismatches down there. And they could go with a 2-big lineup and get in the post. I think they could have got to the rim. Their philosophy is just gun. And when you go 1 of 13 in the third quarter, and then when you go 1 of 11 in the third quarter and 2 of 13 in the fourth quarter, I believe they essentially shot themselves in the foot. I think with the whole Houston Rockets thing, when you miss that many threes, switch up your game plan if you have the ability to do it. Now, the Houston Rockets, they might not have had the ability to switch up their game plan. The Boston Celtics absolutely can. Drew Holiday can post. Jaylen Brown can post. Derek White can post.
We got to talk about Drew Holiday.
Jason Tatum can post. All of these guys can play a different brand of basketball. All of these guys can get downhill. All of these guys don't have to just rely on three-point shooting.
It's like a fever dream, man. It's to me like because I was exhausted yesterday. I got home real late, and I was like, I was laying down. I remember just like seeing on my phone. I was watching clips from the game, and I was looking at it, and I just kept re-seeing it. And I'm just like, I thought I was dreaming. You know what I'm saying? I was tripping. I was just like, because I'm telling myself, like, why are they still trying to do that? Like, you got to switch up. I remember thinking like that's why they got beat like that, because they want to play the same way every time. It's just I want to just yell through the TV screen like,
stop shooting the long ball.
You know, like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, timeout. You know, I want to call a timeout and get out there like, okay, like, this is what we doing now. You know what I'm saying? It's just a team that plays good defense like this, to what Mars was saying earlier, their ability to extend out there and get with their shooters early. You just can't do that. You can't. I mean, you can. Obviously, you can. But if you're missing, you got it. If you're gonna shoot, you got to make them.
Generally, I agree. I just feel like last night, well, in the first half, they were scoring at the rim. They were getting inside. That's how they were scoring. Like, the three ball wasn't really dropping for them the whole night. I just like they couldn't get beyond the 3-point line. Like, they were trying to drive. They couldn't get past people.
They couldn't.
That's like Boston last night. They were chucking threes. And it wasn't the threes that they're used to. Like, normally they'll drive and they'll kick, and it's like, oh my God, why are you shooting these threes? Like, take the layups. Yep. Last night, they were taking threes because they couldn't get inside the 3-point line. They were trying to. And this is where it comes back to the issue of like these 6'8", 6'9" wings. It's like they aren't good enough with the ball in their hands to break down a defense like OKC. You can't rely on Jaylen Brown to get to the rim consistently when OKC up the pressure. You can't rely on him to break the 3-point line. His handle is not good enough. Jason Tatum doesn't have that elite first step and that elite agility to get by defenders when they're pressuring him high. So they can't get inside the 3-point line. And then you end up relying on like Derrick White pick and rolls, or you end up relying on like Kristaps Porzingis trying to post people up. And even then they're pushing him a bit further out. And it's like, even there was one shot he made like towards the end of a quarter. It was very uncomfortable. He made it over, I think it was Cason Wallace. Like, he made it, but it was like, nice. It was extremely tough. But you know how hard he had to work just to get that shot off? Like, everything they had to do was so difficult, and they couldn't get beyond the 3-point line.
But Mark,
so
when you see a team like that,
that's why last night I don't think is an indicator of like the 3-point issue.
Yeah, but when you see a team like that, you got to switch it up. Like, when you got a team that's over aggressive like that, you obviously got to go. You got to eat off of backdoor cuts. You know what I'm saying? And I know
it tried to do that too, Ox. That didn't work.
But what I'm saying is you got to work early. Like, against these teams, you can't let,
and that's the Boston didn't match the physicality. Okay,
right, and that's what
OKC
you can't let these teams come and put all this pressure on you and not work early. You know what I'm saying? You got to be just as aggressive as them. You have to set. There's off ball picks you got to set. You got to switch up your flow. I need off ball picks. I need backdoor cuts. And if it's not working now, you got to keep going, keep sticking with it. If somebody's overplaying you, chill. What do?
Go back door.
Cut.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like, oh, it sounds so basic and so elementary, where it's like, oh, you can't do that but that's what you have to do. Sometimes you have to keep it basic. You have to set backdoor cuts. Off ball screens. You have to cut backdoor. These are just things you have to do. I got Jason Tatum. If I got Jason Tatum out there, I'm not coming to get the ball out there. I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here at the second hash. You're giving me the ball right here. I don't care if it's Lou Dort guarding me. I don't care if it's Cason Wallace. I don't care if it's Alex Caruso, J-Dub. I'm 6'9". You're going to give me the ball at the nail. That's where I'm coming to get the ball at. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to push me.
You're not going to push me 22 feet
away. That's on Boston. They have to not only match the physicality, they have to like welcome it and initiate it. That's what they didn't do. And so I agree with you in like that sense that there were counters. I'm not saying this is impenetrable. It comes down to Boston owning their space. I'm sure Joe Mazzulla probably said that, like owning their space. But like that's what it comes down to, owning your spaces on the floor. If you want to get the ball on the elbow, don't get pushed up to the wing. Like, that shouldn't happen. You own your space. You don't let OKC dictate where you're getting the ball. And that's what they did last night. They let OKC dictate where they were getting the ball, and they couldn't get inside the 3-point line. So that's why they ended up settling for all those bad threes. Like, last night, it was bad threes. Like, that's what they shot last night. It was a bunch of bad threes. Generally speaking, they get good threes, but last night it wasn't. And that was because they couldn't get inside the 3-point line.
And that kid Wiggins is really good.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is. That kid
Hey.
Wiggins is really good. I like him. I do. I really
I
like him.
think out of their other guys outside of their big three, he might be the best over there.
Just
Who's
so you
that
know,
big three?
number 55 pick.
You know, Jay, and I'll keep iHeart out of this because they're
That's what-
just two different players. They're two different players.
Because iHeart
And
is
I'll kind
very,
of keep
very
Caruso
clear.
out of this too, but I'm talking about the other guys like Isaiah
Mhm.
Joe, Casey Wallace, Lou Dort, and
That
anybody
kid
else. in
Jalen
there.
Williams gave him some good minutes too. They got a lot of good minutes from their rotation guys.
They're
That kid
just
Jalen
nice.
Williams gave them good
They're
minutes.
just
That
nice,
kid
dude.
Wiggins gave them good minutes. They got some really good. That's a
very
damn
good.
good Oklahoma City team, man. They got a
Yeah,
good ass
bro.
team.
I got
yo.
them coming out the West, and that's me acknowledging like
They
the
got a good
offensive
ass
flaws.
team,
Like,
yo.
this
They do.
defense is hard to score on this
Mhm.
defense. Very, very hard to score on this defense.
I thought, Ron,
Yeah.
when you was talking about the big three, I thought you were talking about iHeart
Mhm.
and them, you know.
That's what I thought, but I didn't know. Also, Nikola Topic is coming back for them next year too. Like that's another ball handler. Like,
I'm
very
curious.
good.
I
They own
really
the
want
next
to. I
four
really want to
drafts.
see him. I really want to see him play a lot. I want to see him consistent. I really want to see how good he is because that's crazy. This team is going to be really good for the next for the foreseeable future. They're going to be really
Yeah.
good.
They
Got a good
still
team,
own
yo.
the next
Got
four
a damn good
drafts,
team.
first
Right,
and
that's
second round picks.
crazy.
So it's
Hey,
like,
at the end of that game, because somebody tried to make a clip about it and seemed like SGA was tripping. When SGA pushed Wiggins, he was like yeah, like
He was hyping him up. He
picking
was hyping him up. He was hyping
Right.
him up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought. Because I was
he's
like, I hate the fact that they're trying to act like he was mad that he stole his rebound. Like, calm down.
He
Did
was
you
happy.
see the fourth quarter that kid had?
Yeah, he was
Like,
going crazy.
Wiggins
come
is
on,
nice.
He was saving
man.
basketball. He was saving basketball.
Yeah, come on, man. That was a hell of a fourth player. I think that's what I said. I was like, there's no way he was upset. I think SGA was showing him some love. Like, that's what I thought.
But SGA
All right,
tough.
y'all,
He tough.
we're not going to have too much time to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I do want to acknowledge that they are the first team to 30 wins in this season. They obviously still have the best record in the NBA. They secured their 31st win yesterday, so they are 31-4, and the Thunder are 30-5. So those teams are
They play on Wednesday.
and we'll be on playback on Wednesday.
This is what Oklahoma City's draft looks like over the next 5 years.
4 first rounders, 2 first, 3, 2, and then a bunch of second round. Like, this one, like they don't need a superstar, but they have the best package for a superstar in the NBA.
They do.
Like if KD's like, I went out of Phoenix. Here you go, here's some picks. Here you go. There you go. Now all of a sudden you got KD on your team. Like OKC is like the best situation in the NBA.
Yeah, it's
in terms
crazy.
of on-court products and what they have for the future.
Man, why don't they just go get Steph real quick?
No, because he's not that good. He washed.
But what I'm saying is more Steph can go to OKC and be a spot-up shooter for 4 seasons.
Oh yeah. If you just have him
Yeah.
stand in the corner, yeah, he'll be right.
Yeah,
Put him in the corner.
Steph can go to OKC right now and for the next 4 seasons be a spot-up shooter and win like 3 championships. Yo, Steph with 7 rings. Yeah, I like it. I like
But
it.
shout out to the Cleveland Cavs once again. They've won 10 straight games by 10 plus points, and they're the first team to do that since the 17 Warriors. 17-18 Warriors.
Damn. They're on a hell of a run.
Yeah.
This stretch from OKC where they just beat the Knicks, they just beat Boston. If they go in and beat Cleveland, and if Cleveland like that game, whoever wins is like, oof, that's a serious game. Whoever wins that game.
One more. Here's the thing. They play twice this month, and we're going to watch both of those games on playback. So they play this Wednesday in Cleveland, and then they play on the 16th in Oklahoma City. So we're going to
Big games coming up, man.
Yeah,
Big games
we're
coming
going to get down to the bottom of it
You
this
know,
month.
Ron, besides the Thunder and the Cavaliers, who has the longest winning streak in the NBA, right?
It's the Kings, right?
It's the Kings.
Nice little 4-game winning
So
streak.
Keon Ellis start getting some minutes.
No, it's
But
just Mike Brown got up out of there.
Hey, Chris,
Nah.
Doug Christie.
Mike Brown wasn't playing Keon Ellis.
From one body to another body, this body knows what he's doing.
Damn.
Tried to tell you Keon Ellis should be starting for you. Now look, you playing minutes. Look what happened. You win some games.
I wasn't sure about him starting, but I was always in support of him playing more. Always in support of him playing more.
But you did just beat the Warriors, so it's like does that really count as a win?
Just be who's in front of you.
They suck.
All right, y'all. We got
It don't
super
take much.
chats. Brand sent through a super chat. He said, you have to stop doubling down on stuff when the evidence clearly tells you something different. Chill. SGA is and has been better offensively for a while now.
For a while, okay.
Teflon Gunsmoke said, I might swerve in that corner. Whoa. He said, shout out to Jello for the first hit of 2025. LeVar Ball went 3 for 3.
Yeah, you heard the LeVar shout out too. Shout out to my pops.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jello, man.
Hey, I'm not because I was seeing the. I haven't heard it. I actually listened to that song on the way up the freeway yesterday. I listened to it like 2-3 times.
It's cool. It's a cool song.
I like it. It's a cool little vibe. It's a cool little vibe. Lyrically, I don't think he's very lyrically inclined, but it's a good vibe. Though. It's a good vibe. I'm not mad at it. I hope Lonzo plays that when he's getting ready for his games and stuff.
Yeah, everybody been playing it. They played it in the Bulls locker room after they won the other game. I think it was last night. I want to say the Lions, after they beat the Vikings last night and ended up securing the NFC, they played it in their locker room. A bunch of you've been seeing a bunch of clips of different people playing it.
Lonzo started dunking recently. It's not a coincidence.
Come on now. Hey Mars, because I'm going to the gym as soon as we wrap this up. I'm on that. I'm playing that. I'm gonna be playing that today for sure.
Hey, swerving been that corner.
Oh, hey, that was hard. You heard it, Chill?
No, I haven't.
Chill, you gotta listen to that when you go work.
I was still listening to Elvis.
That's crazy.
Elvis? Ain't nobody listening to no Elvis. Chill, don't let him do you like that.
Hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with Elvis, man. That's his era. Ain't nothing wrong with Elvis.
I'm not listening to Mars. I'm good. Even though I was on live this morning and the UK guys, they told me that they love me over there. They love Mars too, by the way.
Okay.
That's they should.
Masinko said, I never thought about Smitty SGA comp, but that's kind of fire. What's your favorite shooter hoop in? For me, it's the D Rose 1.5s, PG6, and the 2K4 Hirachis. Shout out to Hirachis for real.
Yeah, man. You can't go wrong with most bronze. And obviously, I'll stand on them pro models and bring them pro models back. Chill.
Slides, okay.
Chill. No, hey, Chill. I was go ahead, Chill. Go ahead.
Jordan 3s.
I like the Kobe 4s. Kobe 3 or 4s, but I think I like the 3s a little better.
Chill, I seen somebody, we went out this weekend. I seen somebody run up on me like, oh man, you start talking about, you have no idea how good Tim Duncan was. I was hilarious. They love you out here, Chill. They love you.
Chill, let me know when you want to pull up to Portland. I'll pull up down there so I could piggyback off.
I love Portland. Oh, I love Portland.
I was in California. I wasn't ready.
There's stuff to do in Portland.
That works too.
Man, Portland is a dope city.
I'm just curious.
Just wait for PC weekend.
Portland is near Seattle, and Seattle was terrible. So I'm just.
But no,
you know what's funny? They dropped the. We'll get into this later, but yeah, we are a top food city in the nation. But we'll talk about that later.
The nation is good. I don't know what to tell you.
MP13 said, Jokic Glaze aside, I struggle compartmentalizing SGA's MVP case when a majority of the reason of his team's success isn't heavily correlated to his contributions since he's the 5th best defender.
So what? He's the 5th best defender. He still does a lot of. Take SGA off that crew. See how they do.
Thank you, Chill.
Take him off that crew and then see what happens.
They have a plus 16 net rating with Shea, and they have a plus 0.3 without him. It's very heavily correlated to what he does.
Yes.
Now their defense might still be elite with or without him. Their defense is great. The fact that their offense falls off a cliff without him, you can have the best defense in the league, but if you have the worst offense too, you're still going to lose some games. So
that's what the league MVP.
That's Shea's MVP.
No, if that's the case, the Magic don't need Franz Apollo.
That's pretty much the argument. Yeah, it's like,
what?
But Shea is elevating that offense to a level that they wouldn't win without Shea's offense. Like they would just be in a bunch of 90 to 91 NBA games. That's what their score would be. 90 to 91. Maybe they win, maybe they lose. But like Shea is the reason. Shea is a large part of the reason why they're winning. As much as they are.
Cheese has been around for 17 months and he sent through a members chat. He said, I don't care what narratives the media or the people are trying to push, but that Serbian dude is the best player in the world by far. Gold emoji.
He pretty good.
King AD sent through a members chat. He's been around for 5 months. He said, get Bam off my team. Rather build around Jovic. That's crazy.
Bam doing some crazy things on offense.
A Blair became a YouTube member today. Shout out to A and shout out to Blair. Quan sent through a member chat. He's been here for 17 months. He said Wemby cutting Jokic's range short. Young GOAT emergence.
Yeah, I think he can be.
He cutting his range short. So let me ask you this: when is Wemby the best player in the league in your estimation, Mars?
Next year.
So by next year, he's the best player in the league. And okay, that's troll alert. Woo, 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 woo. That's
If I'm
troll
right,
alert.
if I'm right,
if you're right, which I think you're wrong, but let's just say it's 2 more years from now. So Wemby, so Joker has probably been the best player in the league for what? That'll be 5 or 6 years that Joker's been the best player in the league. In 2 years,
like revisionist history, maybe like 4.
4. What did I say? 5?
So 5 or 6, maybe it's like
okay,
4
5 or
years.
6. Okay, so by
And fellas,
years,
I gotta jump off here. Unfortunately, I gotta take this call.
all right, go handle that.
Oh,
Okay,
so
Mars, do your thing, Mars.
I
Yeah,
go
Mars,
finish
do your
the
thing.
Superchats? Okay,
Yeah, do your
we
thing.
gonna finish this in about
Bye,
6
Ron.
minutes.
Garbage.
Merry Christmas.
Oh,
Merry Christmas.
yeah.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this.
Bye, Ron.
This is a question from Teddy Hart. He said he already asked me, but who would you guys take and why? Peak Penny or SGA?
For MVP, Peak Penny.
I think he's saying SGA for MVP.
I don't think we saw Peak Penny, but Penny, what he was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I
Who do you have?
want
I know
94.
Ox has Penny. Ox has Penny. That's fine. But
Yeah, I'll take
Sure.
Hardaway. I'll take Hardaway.
both of you guys got Penny. Okay.
Mhm.
There you go. The people gonna say, "Oh, look at the old head bias."
Yeah.
Context clues with a super chat from 2 hours ago that he asked me to get Ron to read, but here you go. You get it read 3 hours later. He said it's not just the money. Jimmy's been asking for help for 2 years and they haven't gotten anybody. That was the point Ron was making. I agree with context clues about that. By the way,
Yeah.
they didn't do it.
I do think that's a fair criticism. I do.
NP13 with another super chat. He said, Ox, Kawhi was looking real good. He was active on defense and went right back to being an elite jump shooter. Almost brought a tear to my eye.
MP13. That's one thing me and you agree on. I was ready to cry. I was there. Like I said, I was in California this weekend. So that morning, I was everybody I seen. I was reminding them, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Pacific Standard Time. Kawhi is back. Make sure you watching that. So
that game was on late as hell too. So shout out to everyone overseas who stayed up to watch Kawhi's return. You're dedicated.
7:30 Pacific.
Teddy Hart has back-to-back here. He said, Ron saying that Miami's success was largely due to many unheralded players overachieving rather than bona fide star help for Jimmy. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes. I mean, the 14th pick in the draft is not expected to be arguably the best defensive player in the game. Then you got the best rotation player in the game in Tyler Hero, who's emerging as a starter. So I'd like to think a lot of those guys. I mean, they had 4 undrafted guys, and 3 of them were starters on a finals team. I mean, don't forget the kid Martin. Drake turned him on. The Heat turned him on. Drake turned the Heat on
Butler, right?
Yeah, like you need to come see this dude. So yeah.
Well, my thing is though, like what I was trying to say to Ron was just because the Masters, just because we don't know how good these people are, doesn't mean that they haven't been in the gym with them all summer and don't know what they have. Like, I think it's possible that Eric Spoelstra is seeing things in the summertime. Like, yeah, man, we got a guy that can give us some big minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because they're not a household name doesn't mean that they can't contribute.
Right.
I understand that. Teddy Hart again said, talk about Jimmy to the Magic for a package centered around KCP and Jonathan Isaac. A Jimmy, Franz, and Paolo core would be tough. I'm not trading Jonathan Isaac. I'm just putting it out there, but you guys think Jimmy to the Magic makes sense?
I don't want buckets next to my kids. I'm good. I've seen that movie already.
I'm telling you,
well, Franz and Paolo are different to Cat and Wiggins, respectfully.
Facts. The best thing Orlando can be doing is being on that phone with Sacramento. That's what Orlando needs to be doing. Orlando needs to be on the phone with Monte McNair trying to get De'Aaron down there. I don't know. I don't want De'Aaron to go anywhere, but I'm saying, like, for them though, like if they get De'Aaron, they're the favorites to me.
They'd be tough. They would be tough. Almighty Lambo says, shout out Adam Silver for his impeccable marketing of Victor Wembanyama. And you see how Garland showed Lobozo ball. How dare you? What a real point guard looks like. Cavs in 4. Ignoring the Lobozo ball comment. I don't think the NBA is marketing Wemby nearly enough. They gave him 19 nationally televised games last year, and then they reduced that heavily this year. Ridiculous to me. Like, he needs to be on TV. The world needs to see what Wemby's doing. But shout out to Adam Silver because he wants to televise the Lakers.
And the Clippers. And the goddamn
The
Clippers.
Clippers is must-see TV. The Clippers is must-see TV.
I understand that part. Sure.
Yeah.
The Lakers.
But Ray B asked, Chill, are you ready to say Wemby is in that top 5 to 10 of the league conversation?
Yes.
Nice. Ox?
He's not better than Cat. He's not better than AD.
It's a conversation. Not he's there. It's a conversation. Yes, I'm ready to have that conversation. Yes.
Eastside General became a member. Shout out to Eastside General. MP13 said, I can't recall someone shutting so many quadrants of the court so consistently. People are actively avoiding entire sections of the court with the ball. I believe
that's about Oklahoma City and Boston.
I believe he's talking about Wemby. I believe, because that was sent 3 hours ago. So I believe he's talking about Wemby. Yes, Wemby shuts down areas of the court. If you weren't talking about Wemby, I apologize, but it sounded like it applied to. Grande Jones, who's been a member for over 2 years, shout out to you, said Jamal Murray, aka Lester. We didn't put anything on him today, but we will come back $20,000 richer tomorrow. So looking forward to that. Philo Red asked, how long has Jokic got? I'll say this season, 2 more, and then it's Wemby. That's what the alien is for.
Oh, okay. I get you. Okay. I thought they were saying how long can Joker play. I don't think he got more than that.
He can play for as long as he wants to play. That's really up to him. But when as the best in the world, I don't know. Wemby gonna have it in like 3 months. Aspect became a member, and E-Word also became a member. And then Alanar said before he got hurt, he was playing better defense. He's talking about Luka. Oh, do you have any thoughts? Was Luka playing better defense before he got hurt?
He was showing signs.
Signs of life. I like to see it. Carlos Hernandez, I believe he's a Dallas fan. OKC isn't beating a healthy Dallas. Okay. OKC isn't beating a healthy Dallas team. People still sleep on Dallas, man. If they played right now, well, fully healthy in the series, who do you have winning? OKC or Dallas?
Dallas is really good.
I'm taking Dallas in that series.
Dallas is really good. But we got to talk about OKC healthy too. So, right, with Chet, right?
Well, we're talking fully healthy. I'm still taking Dallas in that series.
No, I can't call it. I'll probably go OKC. I'm gonna go OKC. OKC.
One for Dallas, one for OKC, and I mean, I got the Rockets. So. Brand.
Got the
Brand
Rockets.
said,
I thought you said just last week.
Just 3 days ago, Ox. 3 or 4
days
ago.
Now when Thompson started.
Here we go. Here we go.
I meant Thompson started with Rockets FC.
Just 3 or 4 days ago, this was going on.
Yeah, but that was when Amen Thompson was on the bench. Now I have something to root for.
I don't want to hear your shit, Mars. Superchats. I don't want to hear your shit. I'm not interested.
Respectfully, chill. You make up a lot of stuff on older players. That's my only problem. Like, Chuck ain't as good as Giannis in transition.
Okay, Brand, first of all, I don't make up stuff about older players. I was there. I watched it. So I'm not making it up. So that's just not true. And I remember Charles in transition against the Lakers. I remember Charles in transition against the Warriors. I remember Charles in transition against the Knicks and how good he was. So I'm not making up stuff. That's not true.
You just got cooked, Brad. Duke did it, send a super chat. LaFlame said, maybe now when we sweep OKC in the finals, they will say we had comp this time. Also, someone check on Cam Whitmore's ankles. That was a push-off. But if I had to guess, I would say a Boston OKC finals is what's going to happen. Realist 123, Lakers fan. We didn't even talk about this game. Damn. Realist 123 said we got robbed last night twice. Bron called timeout and Holiday flopped after Bron's 3. Steven Adams killed us.
Destroyed you on the glass. Destroyed you.
I do not think they got robbed, but I also do think that LeBron did call that timeout and they didn't.
He did. But so, I wouldn't have gave it to him neither, Mars, because get open on Fred VanVleet. How about that?
I mean, get open. I think he deserves the timeout.
Hell out of here. Get open.
Yeah, I still think he deserves the timeout.
He got them ball. Out of here. I'm sorry, Ox.
OKC has 4 all defensive level guys: Caruso, Dort, Chet, and J-Dub. You guys agree with that? 4 all defensive level guys?
Caruso, Dort, Chet, J-Dub. Yeah, I guess so. I'm fine with that. I thought Casey Wallace. I thought Casey Wallace was in there too.
I think Isaiah Hartenstein. I think Casey Wallace is all defensive caliber. Like they have 6 in that. Maybe even maybe Shea as well. Maybe
I'm not sure about SGA, but
that defensive playmaking is important. But maybe I don't know. He's like lower on the totem pole. But Huncho said, "You ain't slick trying to downplay hard and chill." We caught that, old man.
We didn't catch anything, Luncho. What are you talking? We
You
didn't
was
catch
trying to
anything.
downplay. You was trying to downplay.
I don't even know what he's
Kawhi?
talking about. Yeah, I don't even know what he's talking
Don't
about.
try and downplay.
My main man, lunch, y'all.
Yeah, I don't even know what he's talking about.
Dubs
I'm gonna
Bestie
be in
said,
Houston this year too, by the way.
Dubs Bestie asked, who's better, Evan Mobley or Coutinho Mobley? Who's the better Mobley?
Coutinho.
Okay, yeah, you trolling. It's very clearly Evan Mobley. Very, very clearly Evan Mobley.
Yes, Evan Mobley.
Dirty 30 said only all NBA first team player Bron faced in the East during the 8-year stretch. He's talking about Derrick Rose and gave them problems. Ring if no injury and had a little help for sure. I mean, I think he had help. That defense was amazing. And would they have won? I don't know. But he is the only all NBA first team in the East in that stretch. I know that's true. And then final two, we got I like burritos saying Excellency FC we up. That's Amen Thompson's middle name for anyone who doesn't know. It's also Asar Thompson's middle name. They have the same middle name. And then final, Just 8 MMA. Does Victor get a combined more defensive player of the years than Bam, Walker Kessler, Evan Mobley, Giannis, and Rudy? Remember, Rudy already has 4. Is Victor that talented to do so? So right now, there's 5 defensive player of the years between these players. So just assuming none of them win any, which is kind of unrealistic because I think Evan Mobley probably won't get one.
Evan Mobley.
But can Wemby win more than 5?
No,
Probably
I don't think
not.
the league is going to
Probably
allow it. Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
Voter fatigue? Interesting.
Probably not. You know, I really wish Amari would have went to Chicago instead of New York.
What would have happened? Derrick Rose and Amari would have been injured together? What would happen?
You know, this would have been good for at least 2 seasons. You know.
Sure. But that's it. I got through the super chats. It didn't take too long. I think it took me about 10 minutes. Thank you guys for watching. Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Apparently, we're on playback on Wednesday. I don't know if that's all of us or just some people because I never got the invite. But anyway, we'll see you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Nobody told me.
And Rockets in 5.